And so when I say Chinese, I want you to scream out the nation that's associated with this. For example, if I say Chinese, you're going to say what?
China!
All right, let's say it with authority. When I say Chinese, you say what? China! All right, that's just a test right there. So here we go. Chinese.
China!
Russian.
Russia!
Italian.
Italy!
German.
Germany!
Swedish.
Sweden!
Korean.
Korea!
Egyptian.
Egypt!
Nigerian.
Nigeria!
Black.
Nothing. Tell him, Pastor. Tell him, Pastor. Black, nothing.
I hope you were able to successfully identify the issue.
The lion won't sleep tonight, 'cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said the lion won't sleep tonight, 'cause we woke now, and we woke now. They want us to sell our souls to barter profit like God's property. It's hard to market, so we steady to aim. Keep your eyes on target, 'cause when you got to drive, yeah, they'd rather you park it. But I don't valet, you ain't getting these keys. I'm keeping closed hands, I'm on bended knee. I'm just a reflection, dealing with 8 sections. Art mixed with life, you can feel the convection. Your lion won't sleep tonight, 'cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said the lion won't sleep tonight, 'cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said
The same people that have stripped us of our identity and labeled us as a color have told us what it means to be black.
The white man is enacting a story all over the world. We left our homes and flooded the world. We smothered culture. We smothered knowledge. We erased history and rewrote it our way. Myself, my grandfather is 100% Ashkenazi Jewish. Claiming to be Jewish, Ashkenazi Jewish is just a conspiracy. White men claiming to be of tribes of Israel when I'm Germanic. You know, I have no ties to Israel, no ties to Judaism. You know, except loosely written history that's been whitewashed over for centuries, and you know,
from the Renaissance.
Oh yeah, right. You wipe everything clean. It's funny how exactly the Renaissance. It's this rebirth, but it's white rebirth. Think at the same exact time the Renaissance is happening, Columbus is sailing to America and committing genocide.
There's only one true ethnic Jew, the Mizrahi Jew, because they are Africans, and if you read the original Bible written in Phoenician Hebrew, they're not. Jewish people are not Europeans. The modern Jews in Israel are Russians or Khazars to be precise, from Russia. I learned it from my grandfather that he was because he was an Ashkenazi Jew.
The same people that have stripped us of our identity and labeled us as a color have told us what it means to be black.
I'm so glad you're here because you can bring great clarity. Can you tell us a little bit about the Sephardic Jews and how they were scattered because they went west?
I sure can.
Because the reason why I want to is because a lot of them, and a lot of people don't know this, are in the Caribbean.
They are.
In the islands.
And you're one of them. I know that.
I'm one of them.
I know that.
Because, you know, a lot of folk don't know that those roots are there. One of the first batches of slaves that came to Jamaica, they were the Sephardic Jews. It's documented.
And they're all over the Caribbean, South America, Central America, and even the South Central United States.
Wow.
And DNA testing is a factor in all this now.
The same people that have stripped us of our identity and labeled us as a color have told us what it means to be black.
You know what you are? You're an ancient Israelite.
Ancient Israelite, that's who we are. That's who we are.
If you give me time. If you give me time. But all that he said. No. We don't have. So many years. I know. Look at this. This is pages and pages of notes. And I promise we'll give more teaching. But here is my challenge to you.
All right.
I'm hearing some of your traditions. It's like the days of the Bible.
Yes.
Do you want to remain ancient Israelites or you want to be Jews? Do you want to remain ancient Israelites or you want to be Jews? Do you want Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger!
I'm Jewish. My sister lives in Israel right now. And with everything happening, and even the fact that my sister is in danger, I'm slowly starting to realize that maybe Kanye was right. Maybe Kanye was right. Maybe Kanye was right. I'm slowly starting to realize that maybe Kanye was right. France banned any protest supporting Palestine. Germany did the same thing. And the United States, a country that's polarized and completely divided on almost any subject, is completely supported on both political sides of Israel, which is kind of scary because there is atrocities being done by Israel. You cannot deny that. And it's strange to me that celebrities, Hollywood, media, and our government is in complete support of Israel. And it feels like they have done nothing wrong.
Such as, especially but not exclusively, the myth about a world Jewish conspiracy or of Jews controlling the media, economy, government, or other societal institutions.
But isn't that what you said? That Jews run everything?
Yeah, but that actually is considered to be anti-Semitic.
Right.
So I didn't realize that it was anti-Semitic to say, hey, you know, I have a Jewish attorney, I have a Jewish record label, I have a Jewish contractor, I have a
Do you regret your statements?
Or the statements you think you should be walking back? I mean, considering...
What do you mean walking back?
Well, you know, backing up off of them. I mean, the thing is, you've lost a lot of endorsements. People are dropping you. You're getting, you know, vilified. You know, I mean, you might think you're right, but I think, you know, there's a whole world out there that's condemning you for what you said.
Okay, so this right here is a chart of Universal Studios, 20th Century Fox, ABC News, CBS News, Columbia Pictures, Warner Brothers, ESPN Sports, Fox News, Washington Post, Metro Goldwyn Mayer, MTV Music Television, Nickelodeon, USA Today, Wall Street Journal, Comedy Central, NBC Entertainment, Google, what else do we have? Disney, ABC Kids and Family, YouTube, Los Angeles Times, Discovery Network, Paramount Pictures, Facebook, Huffington Post, Yahoo, Marvel, Hulu, Cosmopolitan, Time, Touchstone, Associated Press, Pixar, Miramax, HBO, New York Post, LucasArts, MSNBC, DreamWorks Animation. Now the thing is, I skipped over maybe about 5 of them because it was just unclear on this list. The red are the executives that are Jewish at these companies.
Do you think they stuck together when they heard what you said? Was that what happened?
Did you know that musicians nowadays are actually paid more and incentivized to talk about terrible things? So basically, when Kanye said that there are certain executives in the music industry that are ruining certain cultures because they're paying them bonuses or making them famous if they talk about drugs and sex and this and that, and they're keeping that certain culture down, by making it lucrative for certain musicians to talk about negative things. So if you think that music has gotten more negative or like really makes you feel bad over the past 10 or 15 or 20 years, that is intentional. That's by design. And it's not just a conspiracy theory. The people that are in charge are paying big bonuses to have certain rap artists and certain R&B artists and certain musicians nowadays focus on negative things that will bring down the frequency and the people of a certain culture. So intentionally listen to positive music. Don't feed into the negative agenda.
So, a little over 1,000 years ago, as Jewish people scattered around the world had now emigrated in Europe and now were living in the Rhineland in Germany, they looked at the name Gomer in Genesis 10, and they connected Gomer with Germany, so they took on the identity of the name Ashkenaz. It has nothing to do with Ashkenaz in the Bible, which is a descendant of Japhet. It's just a name that was taken. Okay, it's that simple. Just like my last name Brown doesn't refer to the color of my skin or anything else. It was shortened from a Russian name when my grandfather came over at Ellis Island. The name got shortened to Brown. It's just a name. That's all it is. So the idea that Ashkenazi Jews are descended from Japhet is a myth, 100% false.
Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger!
And you know what else, Jim? I just want to say this to our Christian friends, you know, just to call it as it is and say it straight out, you know, you guys are worshiping one Jew. That's a mistake. You should be worshiping every single one of us because we all die for your sins every single day. And that's exactly what's going on here. Yeah. We're all God's firstborn, and we're dying for your sins right now because the Jewish people in the land of Israel are the bulwark against the orcs. Mm-hmm. Okay? The orcs are coming not to a theater near you, but to your home.
Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger!
For the righteous, they exist in the world to come and they're rewarded. And for those whose major complexion is black, are excluded from the world to come. Major complexion is black, are excluded from the world to come. Major complexion is black, are excluded from the world to come. For the righteous, they exist in the world to come and they're rewarded. And for those whose major complexion is black, are excluded from the world to come.
Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger!
The entire Bible is about black people. Not only was Jesus black, but every character in the Bible seems to be black too. Yeah, Zephaniah and Jeremiah and Jebediah, those all aren't white people names, okay? And Jesus wasn't some tan, partially melanated Middle Eastern person either. I'm talking straight up black dude, okay? Even in the book of Revelation, when you get the vision of Daniel, he's describing someone with feet like burnt brass and white woolly hair, and we've got the deep running water voice with the red eyes, and you guys, he's black. The Jewish people are black people, like Kanye was right.
Planned Parenthood was made by Margaret Sanger, a known eugenics with the KKK, to control the Jew population. When I say Jew, I mean the 12 lost tribes of Judah, the blood of Christ, who the people known as the race black really are.
The major problem of Israel is with the young generation of the black community. Black Lives Matter starts there. I had last week a sit-down dinner at my house with 40 people, which are considered the leadership of the black community.
I have said to people when they ask me if this Capitol crumbled to the ground, the one thing that would remain is our commitment to our aid, and I don't even call it aid, our cooperation with Israel. That's fundamental, our cooperation with Israel.
Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger!
Today, it is prohibited, and you can Google this, to do a DNA test in Israel. Totally forbidden. Wrong. It's illegal. It's a crime. You'll be jailed if you do a DNA test in Israel. Why? Because they know the truth will come out. You come from Poland, you come from Ukraine, you came from Europe, you came from everywhere else. And they were the original Middle Eastern Jews who lived together with the Muslims and the Christians for centuries. For centuries. So what happened to a lot of the Jews?
Genesis chapter 11 verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you.
I want to say peace and blessings to everyone. Hope all is well with you guys. And want to apologize for the issues that I'm having. I was delayed trying to get on, having all kinds of problems with StreamYard. Go figure. I found out that through some emails that I received that YouTube muted some sections of my previous live that I've done. But it's all good. We're still going to press through it. So I hope all is well with you guys. I want to say, hope and pray that you guys are going to enjoy the celebrating the feast of dedication. Hope you guys really enjoyed that. It's an 8-day celebration, and I may do a teaching on it. If not, I'll just save it for tomorrow. Just do touch on that a little bit. But again, I hope and pray that you guys have a great Shabbat. So I want to say Shalom Lach Mash Pakha, which means in ancient Hebrew, it's asking the question, is it well? Shalom, is it well? Mash Pakha, that means family. So Shalom Lach means, is it well? Mash Pakha means family. And some will say Shalom, which that is an Israeli language, because there were no O sounds in ancient Hebrew. There was no U sounds and things along that line. And I'm not saying this to, insult anyone, but I'm just stating the facts. It's not a deal breaker with me if you say Yahuwah or whatever words that you use, like Elohim. If you use those different words, or it's not a deal breaker, because the key is we all on this road and making an assertive effort to do things right in the sight of the Most High. So again, that's not a deal breaker for me. And just let me just play this real quick, just so that way those that may not understand where I'm going at, let me allow you to hear this professor here teach Hebrew, and notice what he said about that O sound.
Here's a chart that summarizes vowel class and length. And you can see across the top the three classes, A, E, and U. And then down the side, the four lengths, long, medium, short, and very short. So let's just go over this chart. We'll start with the A class vowels. The long vowel is cholam vav, and you'll recall that this says O as in snow. Now you might wonder why an O vowel is in the A class, and this is because of historical considerations. Originally there was no O sound in Hebrew. Everything that is a cholam vav used to be a long A. If you know the Hebrew word for peace, it's shalom. If you know the Arabic word for peace, it's salam. And that long
right. So I just want to show that video there. I mean, because I know that there are some that will make fun of those that say shalom. There are some that'll make fun of some that will say, uh, you know, Yahweh versus Yehudi. There are some that will mock and make fun because many of us are saying Yahweh versus Yahuwah. There's a lot of pettiness that's going on because some will mock and laugh and make jokes about those of us that are saying Allah Hayam versus saying Elohim. So that's why I just want to share that with you because again, it's not a deal breaker with me, but as long as you or anyone don't mock and laugh at those that are actually pronouncing these words correctly, that is speaking the ancient Hebrew. So I just want to make sure that we just establish some decorum here. So if you hear me say shalom and you choose to say shalom, hey, that's on you. I'm not going to knock you, but don't knock me when I say shalom. Don't knock me when I say Yahweh Shai. Don't knock me when I say Yahweh. Don't knock me when I say Rawak Ha Kwadash. And we good. All right. All right. All right. So let's go and get into it, family. We got a lot to cover. And so one last thing I want to point out, when I play a crazy video tonight, like if you hear something crazy, I got another clip that I'm going to share, kind of like be a warning in between. I'm sure you guys probably noticed me playing this clip right here every time you heard something that was way out and in left field. I know you probably was wondering, like, where Pastor going with this clip right here.
Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger!
That's right. That's the warning. That's when you hear stranger danger. You guys know with the young people, with kids, when a stranger tried to talk to them or things along that line, that's one of the things that they are taught to scream out stranger danger. So for me, in this sense, when we hear some of the crazy stuff that we've heard, especially when we started dealing with people in other communities, they will say all kinds of crazy stuff just so that way they could be in disagreement with our community, just so that way they can have something to say, or anything but the Negroes. Everyone else can be say whatever they want to say. They can insult our community and all those, the different things that we see. But when it comes to our community, they kind of, come against us. Not kind of, they come against us and saying a lot of outlandish things. As you heard on the clip, you got rabbis teaching Christians that we are supposed to worship them, give thanks to them, just like we do our Hebrew Israelite Messiah that look like you and I. So that's why I played this clip right here.
Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger!
Just like Dr. Michael Brown, who tried to pivot away from the word Ashkenazi and was all over the place and trying to come up with all kinds of reasoning for that. I can't even echo what he said. I'll just play it real quick.
So a little over 1,000 years ago, as Jewish people scattered around the world had now immigrated in Europe and now were living in the Rhineland in Germany, they looked at the name Gomer in Genesis 10, and they connected Gomer with Germany, so they took on the identity of the name Ashkenaz. It has nothing to do with Ashkenaz in the Bible, which is a descendant of Japhet. It's just a name that was taken. Okay, it's that simple. Just like my last name Brown doesn't refer to the color of my skin or anything else. It was shortened from a Russian name when my grandfather came over at Ellis Island. The name got shortened to Brown. It's just a name. That's all it is. So the idea that Ashkenazi Jews are descended from Japhet is a myth, 100% false.
Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger!
Come on, family. Stranger danger. Stranger danger. These other nations, right? The things that they are saying, these people that are trying to hold on to whatever lies that was taught to us, and I mean, literally contradicted himself a number of times. But let it be someone from our community, man. You'll see all kinds of videos being made. You'll see all kinds of conferences and books and websites. You'll see all kinds of things that other communities would do to mock and ridicule us. Hey, they're mocking and ridiculing us right now. And, we don't even have to say anything about them. They are literally building their reputation off of us. But they're crickets on what's going on over in Israel. They're crickets when you play clips like this. They are crickets, just like even with that video clip that I shared with this rabbi talking about, we need to worship them, and they're coming against the orcs, or the orcs are going. I mean, literally went, what's that movie? Lords on the Ring on us.
And you know what else, Jim? I just want to say this to our Christian friends, just to call it as it is and say it straight out, you guys are worshiping one Jew. That's a mistake. You should be worshiping every single one of us, because we all die for your sins every single day. And that's exactly what's going on here. Yeah. We're all God's firstborn, and we're dying for your sins right now because the Jewish people in the land of Israel are the bulwark against the orcs. Mm-hmm. Okay? The orcs are coming not to a theater near you, but to your home.
Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger!
That's right. Stranger danger. You hear the doctrine of Lords of the Ring. And family, we have some so-called non-Messianic brews, that teach that Israel is the Messiah, according to their incorrect teachings of Isaiah 51. So that's similar to what this rabbi is teaching here, that not just the Messiah, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, be worshipped, but all of us to be worshipped. And that's what that rabbi is saying, is that all of, not just worshiping Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, that we in fact should be worshiping their entire community, worshiping all of them. And this is why they do carry themselves in the way that they carry. This is why you'll hear stuff like what I played earlier with the clip of the rabbi, saying that, Negroes, in a nutshell, are excluded from the world to come. That's why we're hearing all kinds of craziness like that. But again, it is what it is. So I just wanted to explain why you hear me play that clip, Stranger Danger. You know what I mean? Because that is stranger danger. Other nations trying to teach us or trying to cover their tracks. Other nations wanting Yah's people, not just Yah's people, all the world to worship them. They want to completely come up with all kinds of rules to govern themselves, to protect themselves. But if you say something about those rules, guess what? Then you're anti-Semitic. If you question and if you use their own sources, then guess what? It's okay for them to use it, but you're anti-Semitic. Now we're getting to a place now, they're trying to make it, a negative thing if you even speak against Zionism. They're doing all kinds of stuff, man. I'm telling you, family, those attacks is calculated to our community. But that's a whole nother discussion. that is a whole nother discussion. But let's go ahead and get into it. Prayerfully, my cousin can jump on here. If not, we'll just wing it a little bit because I wasn't able to put all of my lesson together, so we'll wing it a little bit, and we'll cover some things. We'll cover a number of things tonight. All right, but let's go ahead and get into it, family. Let's go into it. Get into it. So you guys remember this a year ago, man. It was a tsunami. It was like a tsunami hit a year ago. I mean, with Kanye West, with Kyrie Irving, with Whoopi Goldberg, and also with the Hebrews to Negroes. It was like a tsunami that hit, right? A tsunami hit. So, and before I go continue, I want to preface this by stating, the thoughts and opinions of the videos that I'm sharing, the information that I'm sharing does not necessarily reflect the thoughts, the opinions, the beliefs of We Woke Now. So I want to make sure I'll put that disclaimer out there because again, there's all kinds of stuff that are happening in these YouTube streets, so I just want to put that out there. All right. But anyway, I just want to preface by pointing that out. But anyway, let's get into it. Was Kanye West correct when he said they control everything? Was he correct? Was he correct when he said they? And when he referred to the they, he referring to the Jewish community as we know them. Was he correct? Let me go ahead and just do this here. Let me create a poll here for you guys, and you guys can vote. Let me see here. All right. Let me go ahead and create a poll here. Let's see here. Let me create a poll. Let me go to the live here, and I appreciate everyone for pressing out. And right now we have over 500 people in the chat. Let's get those likes up. Let's get those likes to at least 300 likes, right? Really 500. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that like and subscribe to the channel. And I want to give you a heads up because I've been getting emails, people thinking that they're still subscribed and was unsubscribed. See, those are some of the things that YouTube is doing. They are unsubscribing many of our followers here on We Woke Now. So if you think that or if you're subscribed, double check just to make sure that you are still subscribed to the channel, and subscribe again. Check your notifications. Make sure you periodically check those things, because those are some of the things that YouTube is doing to suppress the views, to suppress the growth of this channel, because we should be a lot further along with the subscribers. But again, this is what they do. When I say they, many of these social media outlets are doing. So let's see here. Was Kanye West correct about they control everything? All right, so let me go ahead and put this into the poll. Put this poll into the chat. So let me start this poll. Also, let me pin this to the chat too. All right. All right, let me pin this into the chat as well. For those that want to contribute, whether it's super chat or via the Cash App. Let me put this in here. This thing is acting up. All right, let me just pin this to the top. All right, so I'm going to encourage everyone to participate in the poll. All right, was Kanye West correct about his comments about they control everything? All right, so let's get as many participants that we can, and we'll piggy, kind of toggle back and forth just to kind of monitor what's what's the what you guys are saying, what you guys believe, whether it's yes or no. So far, we have 72, now 73 votes. 99% says yes, while 1% says no. So let's go ahead and just get into it. Right, a year ago, Kanye West set the social media, set the world on fire. He and Kyrie Irving, they, Whoopi Goldberg, those three set the world on fire, because of their comments that they made a year ago. And so we're going to revisit that, So again, what triggered the Kanye West tsunami a year ago? Well, this is what triggered it. This is what triggered it, right? This is his words, as you see on your screen. He says here, "I'm a bit sleepy tonight. When I wake up, I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people." The funny thing is, I actually can't be anti-Semitic because Black people are actually Jews. Also, you guys have toyed with me and tried to blackball anyone who ever opposes your agenda. Now, Kanye West, shortly after making this statement, I'm going to let you hear exactly what he said addressing this in his own words. I don't want to speak for him. I'm going to let him address it because I understood what he was trying to convey. But no matter what, when you post that word death, and this is why he should have proofread, he should have had his aides or whomever to make sure that they stay on top of him making posts like this, because this is what really stir things up. This is what really got the momentum going. And the terms of the words of anti-Semitism is this statement right here. When I wake up, I am going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. Now, I understand what DEFCON, F means because I'm prior military. I understand that. But regardless of what his intent was, he was still wrong for making this post. He should have double checked. If he wanted to say DEF, he should have double checked. He should have spell checked. He should have had, anyway, I'm not going to get into all of that, but let's see how he addressed that. Let's see how he responded. Did he make a statement? Yes, he made a statement shortly after this right here. And this is his statement. This is his own words.
I talk about the left, the Democrats, and how they pray with BLM on our outrage. Even when I put up the DEFCON 3 tweet, I was outraged at this point.
What does DEFCON 3 mean? It's like level of this, like
actually, when it's DEFCON,
it's like nuclear war.
But I spelled it wrong. I have a tendency to do that. But DEFCON is actually that you're preparing to protect yourself.
So that's what he meant. That's what he meant. That's his own words. He meant to, protect himself, but he didn't, according to his words, that he didn't mean it in the way that it was typed out. But again, you know how it goes. We have to make sure that we cross our T's and dot our I's. We have to make sure that we are correct. Right. So again, he didn't say DEFCON. He said DEFCON. This is the tweet. This is the original tweet. And I know many of you guys probably didn't know that or didn't catch that. That's why he made that statement stating that, hey, he was asleep. You have a habit of misspelling. So just with that thought, he should have been that much more conscientious of what he posts, what he said, because any errors, guess what? Especially when you're getting into this, the waters of these type of discussions, man, you say anything out of the way, right? Guess what? You are literally, setting yourself up. All right. So, what's that? Cynthia, you have DEFCON, right? That is a preparedness for military. They have, matter of fact, let me pull it up here just so that way I had it in I had it in the presentation. I'll just read to you what it is, the different ones are. Let me see here. All right, let's see here. Just so that way you guys can understand the different threats, and each one do have a meaning. So let me pull it up here. Let me copy this in. I should have kept it in here, but let me go ahead and answer that question. Actually, I'm going to copy this over from one of my slides, right? So I'm going to put that over here, and I'm going to make sure that, let's see here. I'll put an animation on it. All right. So here we go. All right. Let me show you exactly what the different threat cons, the DEF CON levels are. Let me go ahead and put this over here. All right. So let's bring that up. Okay. Now, this is the DEF CON levels, right? And you have 5 of them, right? So this is the lowest, DEF CON 5. But when you get to DEF CON 3, as you see here, force, readiness, increase above normal levels. So let's hear what Kanye West said again, and let's see if it lines up with what he intended to say versus what he actually typed. Let's play it again. And again, good intentions, man. The Most High doesn't operate in good intentions. All right, but let's listen to what Kanye said again.
I talk about the left, the Democrats, and how they pray with BLM on our outrage. Even when I put up the DEFCON 3 tweet, I was outraged at this point.
What does DEFCON 3 mean? It's like level of
actually when it's
really
DEFCON,
it's like nuclear war shit.
I spelled it wrong. I have a tendency to do that. But DEFCON is actually that you're preparing to protect yourself.
All right. So he says DEFCON 3 is preparing to protect yourself. And as you see on your screen, DEFCON 3, let me zoom it in. It says here, force readiness increase above normal levels. All right. So that's what his intent, according to his own words. I'm not trying to put words in his mouth. That's why I wanted you to listen to it. I want you to hear his own words, that this is what he when he said DEFCON, as he pointed out for himself, he was saying to be prepared to defend himself or whatever. So again, I understand good intentions. I understand what he intended to say, but he posted this here, and you guys know that is a major no-no, a major no-no. All right. So, but I believe the issue here that many don't want to address, the elephant in the room, is this other part of his statement. Let me show you here where it says, I actually can't be anti-Semitic because Black people are actually Jews. Also, you guys have toyed with me and tried. So just this second portion here, when he says, I actually can't be anti-Semitic because Black people are actually Jews. Also, so I'll stop right there. That's the underlining issue, because that's why he went on when he was on Fox. I can't remember the anchor person, the person that had his own show. I'm not sure if he still does. That's why Kanye West said this here during the height of that storm.
Planned Parenthood was made by Margaret Sanger, a known eugenics with the KKK, to control the Jew population. When I say Jew, I mean the 12 lost tribes of Judah, the blood of Christ, who the people known as the race Black really are.
All right. So that's what he pointed out. That's what he said, that basically in a nutshell, saying that we are the people. We are the people of the book. That's exactly what he said. And so uh, basically, the way things are going, for us to say that we are the people of the book, that is basically being painted into this anti-Semitic Semitism, because according to anti-Semitism, and I was going to bypass this initially, but let's excuse me, revisit this here, on exactly what anti-Semitism is. Notice what this says here: accusing Jews as a people, or Israel as a state, of inventing or exaggerating the Holocaust. Number two, accusing citizens of being more loyal to Israel or to the alleged priorities of Jews worldwide than to the interests of their own nation. So again, what is the definition of anti-Semitism according to the Jewish community? Laying it out. As we see here, calling for, aiding, or justifying the killing or harming of Jews. See, when Kanye West, even though he says that it's a typo, but he still made the post. When is a difference of saying DEFCON versus DEFCON. When he posted DEFCON, so because of that, that falls up under the definition of anti-Semitism according to the Jewish community as we know them. So it says calling for, aiding, or justifying the killing or harming of Jews. All right. Often in the name of a radical ideology or an extremist view of religion. All right. So just want to make that clear, that when you read his initial post, by him saying DEFCON versus DEFCON is a major difference. Whether, regardless of what he said, it was done in error, but still, that makes a major difference. All right. So, but that's what we see listed here as anti-Semitic. Semitic. All right. So going back here, let's fast forward here. Again, when he said DEFCON versus DEFCON, big difference. All right. So we highlighted what anti-Semitism is, but this is a continuation here where it says making mendacious, dehumanizing, demonizing, or stereotypical allegations about Jews as such, or the power of Jews as a collective, especially but not exclusively the myth about a world Jewish conspiracy, or of Jews controlling the media, economy, government, or other societal institutions. So let me see if I could upload this clip here. I meant to upload it, but I was literally becoming limited to how many videos I have up here. So I'm just going to remove this here, and let me see if I can upload a couple of videos real quick and see if that'll work. Let me see. Because I want you to hear this, because I don't want to just use I want to use the words of those that are within that community, because when we start using the words versus not like opinions and things along that line, no, it's better that you show sources. It's better that you let them speak for themselves. And I was trying to look for, oh, you know what, let me see if it's here. If not, I may have to run and get my hard drive, because it may be on my hard drive. Let me just double check real quick. I think I may have copied it over to my backup drive. So let me make sure here. Let me see here. If it's here, then I'll upload it. If not, I will have to just simply get it from my other drive. Yeah, I'm just looking here. All right. I'm going to play a quick clip, and I'm going to run and get my drive and connect that here. So what you're going to hear is going to be from Kohen Hamadishi. Hopefully, we can have him on tomorrow night, and that way we can have a great session about the limba and about the culture, about the history, and some of the challenges that they face. All right, but let me play this clip. Let me run and get my hard drive real quick.
Shalom, Dr. Kelly. Shalom, greetings, my brother. This is Kohen Hamadishe from Zimbabwe. I've been trying to get hold of you, but in vain. I want to respond to what to your question about us, the Lemba people, coming from the white man. I don't know where they got that information from. Whoever gave them that information did it for a purpose. Maybe wanted to get some financial assistance and financial help, or so, I don't know. Was definitely, we are not from the white person. We are not. This can be traced, this can be investigated, whether using the DNA or using the oral history. And you can use any type of research you can use. You will never find us being from the white Jews. The nearest you can get us is with the Yemenite Jews in Yemen. Those are our people. Those are our blood. Those are our kin who we left in Yemen when we went to Africa. We will not deny that. But we share the same names. We share the same features. We share everything with them. Those are our people, not the white men. It's wrong. It's totally wrong. Maybe someone who says that must produce some evidence or show some support to say that to show that we are from the white men. We are not. Look at our features. Look at how we our mentality. We are not from the white people. That is wrong. Thank you, Brother Kelly.
Aman. So you heard it from Kohen Hamadishi, who is an elder of the Limba tribe. And, when you do your DNA, and I'm sure many of you guys have done your DNA, you will see Igbo, you will see Lemba, you will see the Ethiopian Hebrews, to be exact. You'll see Morocco. You'll see a number of different groups, ancient Israelite groups there. And so the key is to understand that Limba has been proven. Igbos have been proven, and other tribes have been proven. And so, with that being said, there were Igbos on those slave ships. There were Limbas on those slave ships. This is why when we do our DNA tests, you'll see Igbo, you'll see Limba. Like on 23andMe, mine show Igbo. On when I did the Jed match, you will see Limba. And you'll see some of the other Israelite tribes there. And then when I did my true ancestry, you see Limba. When I did even Aaron Elhike, right? The Jewish geneticist, he has his a DNA site, that deals with the ancient DNA, and it's on record. And when I went to his site and submitted my DNA raw information, it connected me to the Levites, right? So if it's connecting me to the Levites and some of the other places are connecting me to the Lemba, connecting me and you to the Igbos and other tribes, guess what? We are Israelites. But that's the thing that you're not hearing. That's the thing that is being suppressed. So this is why you have this push like this messianic rabbi who's pushing this agenda. And you guys know I play it over and over again, and I'll play the other part to it because I want to make sure that you guys understand did I put it here? I want you guys to understand the elders did not sit back and allow Rabbi Shapira. They did not allow him to say what he said or ask them that question without responding. So this is what the rabbi said.
You know what you are? You are an ancient Israelite.
Ancient Israel, that's who we are. That's who we are. So if you give me time, if you give me time,
but
all that he said,
I know. We don't have
so many years.
I know. Look at this. This is pages and pages of notes. And I promise we'll give more teaching. But here is my challenge to you.
All right.
I'm hearing some of your traditions. It's like the days of the Bible.
Yes.
Do you want to remain ancient Israelites or you want to be Jews? Do you want to remain ancient Israelites or you want to be Jews? I'm hearing some of your traditions. It's like the days of the Bible.
Yes.
Do you want to remain ancient Israelites or you want to be Jews? That is the question I have for you.
Thank you. I'll answer that question.
Go ahead.
I will help you. After the demise of Solomon, we now have the northern and southern kingdom of Israel.
Yes.
So when we talk about Jews, Jews are Israelites, but all Israelites are not Jews. The 10 tribes that got lost are not Jews. They were Israelites. Jews are Israelites, but all Israelites are not Jews. The 10 tribes that got lost are not Jews. They were Israelites. Jews are Israelites, but all Israelites are not Jews. The 10 tribes that got lost are not Jews. They were Israelites. So when we talk about Jews, Jews are Israelites, but all Israelites are not Jews. The 10 tribes that got lost are not Jews. They were Israelites.
Well, it's depending.
So minority cannot swallow the majority. We are here. We are the majority down here. So you are minority, and we are older than you.
So the rabbi gave him the rabbi received a 3-piece from the elder of the Igbo. And so before we continue, and I just want to say this, and for if any of the Igbo elders that are watching and listening, look, if you guys know that we have a connection here in this country. And I believe that we understand here in this country that you guys are going. I mean, there's a financial struggle with many of you guys over there. But the key is, we have to connect. We have to unify. You know that we are relatives. You know that we are Igbos. We are Limba that is here in this country. But the key is, it's proven that outside of Africa, the Negroes here in the Americas, especially this portion of the Americas, are the most resourceful, capital. So we know that many of the like our Igbo brothers and our Limbo brothers and and the Yoruba and some of the other tribes, they are financially challenged, and that's how many of them are being taken advantage of because they need resources. And when you watch that entire interview, I had it on this channel, but I had to take it down because of the problems I was having with YouTube. So I had to take that interview down. But when you watch the full interview, they make it clear that they need money, that they need resources. So this is where I'm challenging the elders that are over there. Connect with us over here. Connect with us. You have a major opportunity to make that connection and start recognizing, when I say recognizing, officially recognizing us over here, versus us over here feeling like we have to kind of fend for ourselves. The Igbos were confirmed to be blood descendants of the ancient Israelites. Likewise with our Limber brothers, right there, Cohen Hamadishi shared the testimony how the younger ones are being enticed by money because they are pressed for money, family. So again, if we talk about reparations for the FBAs that are here, the foundational black or whatever you want to, I think they call themselves foundational black Americans. Guess what? If you want to talk about reparations, start talking about what we're talking about here. Do it through these channels. Anyway, that's a whole nother discussion. Let me get out of that. I'm getting sidetracked, family. But I just want to just talk about that portion in terms of showing you that let you hear with your ears on the approach and why it's hard for many of our brothers and sisters over there because they are financially challenged. And the other issue too, when you hear, like even in that video, the rabbi stated that, well, I mean, even if they would have, we go and we present this to the council, because you lost Torah, out of all the Jewish groups around the world, you guys lost Torah, and so you're going to have to be taught again. So, what is the process of being taught again? Even though it's proven that in their culture, in the Igbo culture, is so close to the ancient Israelites of how they did things according to Torah. So what does that do? Well, that allows them the opportunity to send books, teach them Judaism. See, that's the reason why the Limba is having issues, because the Limba is like, look, we don't need you to teach us Judaism. We don't need you to teach us how to be ourselves because we are the original. So that's part of the playbook is wanting to convert. There's not a single line of text that says, and show me, I'll post this challenge. I'll put the link inside the comment section for anyone that can show me in the scriptures that, in order to be an Israelite, not a Jew, because Jew in Israel is not synonymous. That word Jew technically is supposedly a transliteration of the word Yahwadah, which many of you guys would say Yehudi or Yahudi, right? Or Yahudah, right? It's supposed to be a transliteration of that. But there's no short form. That word was created, GYU, in the 12th century, for the translation of the Wycliffe Bible going into the English language. So, that word Jew is not synonymous to all of Israel. So that's why that question is weird. Do you want to remain ancient Israelite? Do you want to remain ancient Israelites, or do you want to be Jews? That is the question. Nah, you can't convert to something that is blood. I'm going to post a video. I'm calling it Stranger Danger. And I'm going to post some videos that's going to go deep into this. I'm going to try to do it tomorrow. If not, I'll do it at probably the first day of the week. But that's why that rabbi asked that question. Because trying to get us to pivot from who we are. To pivot from who we are. And convert over to a religious system called Judaism. There's not a single scripture, there's not a single line of text that says that you have to practice Judaism, that you have to practice a religion in order to be recognized as Israelites. No, that's if you're in sin, an Israelite that is in sin, an Israelite that walks away from the Most High, guess what? They're still an Israelite, but the key is they are an Israelite in rebellion. They are a rebellious person or groups, but they're still Israelites. There's not a single line of text that says you have to go through that process. of what they're trying to push on our people. The scriptures is clear. When you read the 147th book of Psalms, it makes it clear that the Most High did not speak with any other nations as he spoke and revealed his law, statutes, and commandments to his word to Jacob, to Israel. And Apostle Paul echoed the same thing when you read Romans chapter 1, and I believe it's verse 2, that the oracles, in other words, the words of the Most High was given to Israel. Anyway, let me stop right there. Come on, family. So whether you are following the law, statutes, and commandments, guess what? Doesn't take away that you're not chosen. You're still part of the chosen people, but you're not that peculiar treasure. You're not the sagala, that valued object, that valued treasure, that valued people. No, you are, you're still part of the chosen, but you're not that remnant. You're still part of the chosen, but you are part of the chosen that is in rebellion. I just want to reiterate that. So again, let's pull this back over, right? So that's part of the issue. That's part of the issue. So that's why Kanye West stated here, because he's going to quote what we have here on the screen. He's going to quote this right here when he realized that, wait a minute, he didn't know what a Jew was. I'm not Jew, but anti-Semitic is, or anti-Semitism. And even that word Jew, again, it's a lot of confusion behind it. Because what is a Jew? What is a Jew? Even in that full video, you had the rabbi, even though the elders are making it clear, they consist of all the tribes. But the rabbi kept saying, but, I see a lot of similarities to Don, or not Don, God. Why this thing of wanting to limit our people to the northern kingdom? Why? Because from their perspective, they see that Judah is a tribe of influence because that's the royalty, the scepter. Benjamin, the Benjamites connected and tied themselves, they were in alliance with Judah. And the first king of Israel came out of the tribe of Benjamin. So when the tribe split, the tribe of Benjamin still maintained their relationship and their alliance with Judah. Later, after Jeroboam threatened to replace the Levitical priests, right, doing all kinds of crazy stuff, that's where the Levitical priests fled. So it went from being 2 tribes to 3 tribes under what? The kingdom of Judah, which is the southern kingdom. But they still maintained being the Levitical priests, the Benjamites, and others, Judah, Yahwadah. And you'll see that in West Africa in some of the older maps. Okay. So, but you notice that whenever you hear like that Rabbi Messier, I took his videos down, but when you read or listen to his entire video, the one that says, hey, you know what? There's one thing about Black people. They don't know their history. So you have to tell them their history. Right. But in that lesson, he makes it clear that the Black people are the lost tribes, the northern kingdom, while his people, the Ashkenazi Jewish community, they are the southern kingdom. He says that. So that still gives what? In their minds, authority to them to dictate on who's who. All right. So I just want to just explain that to you guys. All right. All right. All right. Let me see here. No, we're not getting into multiple wives. Look, family, let's stay on topic. I'm not getting into all of that. Let's kick that out of here. If not, I'm a matter of fact, let me You know, I gotta remove those things. I appreciate it. Appreciate. Let's see here. I thought I saw someone responding. Yeah, let's stay on topic. I saw someone putting a comment out. Stay on topic. I'm removing these comments. Family, get out of here with all this. Why are we dealing with flesh? We got a bigger thing that we're dealing with than dealing with flesh. The last thing we should be talking about is how many wives you can have. Let's talk about a bigger threat. There's a bigger threat that's not concerned about how many wives you can have, how many pieces of flesh you can have. Let's stay focused on what's at hand. Come on, family. That's what all we want to talk about is flesh? Come on, let's stay focused. Let's stay focused. There's a threat that don't care about what we think about far as wives and all that other stuff. There's a bigger threat. So let's stay focused. All right, let's get back into it. All right. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, let's continue. All right. So this is why Kanye West said this comment right here. Let's go to his comment. Let's go to that video. And matter of fact, let me give a special shout out. I didn't catch it till just now. Appreciate it, Sister Carol. Let me say this here. Sister Lisa Jackson, let's give a special shout out. Thank you for the love and support. Yes, he was correct about them folk. However, the Most High did not want us to partake in their lifestyle. Kanye. All right. So appreciate the love and support. Thank you for the contributions tonight. And also Nia Thomas, thank you for the super sticker. And family, let's show some love for the contributions that we received tonight. Thank you. And I really appreciate it. Much love. All right. So this is what Kanye West has said in regards to anti-Semitism. This is what he read from, actually, verbatim. You know, I'm not going to go into this again, but let's see what he said verbatim. Let me go back to here. All right, where is it? We got a lot of video clips here. All right, I'm going to go to, here we go.
Anti-Semitic statements are never good for anybody, right? It's kind of like being anti-black.
But, you know, it's really interesting. I didn't realize that I could be considered anti-Semitic till I read one of the definitions of anti-Semitism. Look at this. The definition says, making mendacious, dehumanizing, demonizing, or stereotypical allegations about Jews as such, or the power of Jews as a collective, such as, especially, but not exclusively. This sounds like a unethical body. All right, so it says, think about it, that sounds like the type of wording that's in the contracts, right?
Indeed.
Such as, especially, but not exclusively, the myth about a world Jewish conspiracy or of Jews controlling the media, economy, government, or other societal institutions.
But isn't that what you said? That Jews run everything?
Yeah, but that actually is considered to be anti-Semitic.
Right.
So I didn't realize that it was anti-Semitic to say, hey, you know, I have a Jewish attorney, I have a Jewish record label, I have a Jewish contractor, I have a
Do you regret your statements?
Or the statements you think you should be walking back? I mean, considering...
What do you mean walking back?
Well, you know, backing up off of them. I mean, the thing is, you've lost a lot of endorsements. People are dropping you. You're getting, you know, vilified. You know, I mean, you might think you're right, but I think, you know, there's a whole world out there that's condemning you for what you said.
Okay, so this right here is a chart of Universal Studios, 20th Century Fox, ABC News, CBS News, Columbia Pictures, Warner Brothers, ESPN Sports, Fox News, Washington Post, Metro Goldwyn Mayer, MTV Music Television, Nickelodeon, USA Today, Wall Street Journal, Comedy Central, NBC Entertainment, Google, What else do we have? Disney, ABC Kids and Family, YouTube, Los Angeles Times, Discovery Network, Paramount Pictures, Facebook, Huffington Post, Yahoo, Marvel, Hulu, Cosmopolitan, Time, Touchstone, Associated Press, Pixar, Miramax, HBO, New York Post, LucasArts, MSNBC, DreamWorks Animation. Now, the thing is, I skipped over maybe about 5 of them because it was just unclear on this list. The red are the executives that are Jewish at these companies.
Do you think they stuck together when they heard what you said? Was that what happened?
Come on, family. Come on, family. That's that. You heard the tone of the reporters change. But let me make a reference to this again. And I know this is a little bit this. Let me see if this video, because I want to also upload a video here. Let me see here. See, let me see if I can upload it here. I want to upload a video here. I want to play a clip here. Not play a clip. I'm going to read from this article here, but I want to set this clip up real quick before I start reading the article, because I want you to hear not just from this article that I'm going to read, but I also want you to hear from someone from their community that fesses up, that states that they do run the media. Come on now, what's going on here? I tell you, all of a sudden things start acting haywire when I do certain teachings. All right. All right, let's see here. Let me bring this one up. All right, real quick. Let me get this real quick. Let me start this up and then I will upload it once it's done so you guys can actually hear what he says. Let me see here. All right, let's see. Oh, come on. All right, here we go. Let me see here. All right, let's see here. Yeah, I have it here. Let me see if I could pull the clip up real quick. Well, at least get it encoded, and then I can upload it shortly here. Let me see something here. I think this is the one that I want. All right, let's see here. This is the one I want, but it's taking a second here. I want to make sure. All right, here we go. Let's see here. I think it's this one right here. All right. Bear with me one second, family. I just want to get this before I say something here, because I want to make sure that, you know, when certain things are being presented, I want to make sure I have the source here. That's not that one. Let me see here. Let's see if this one's it. All right. If not, yeah, I'll just pull this other clip because let's see here. Bear with me one second, family. I'm just trying to pull this clip up. All right, I got it. Let me see here. Let me start it right here. All right. Almost have it here, family. Let me just do some here. I'm just saving it here. Uh, yeah, it's taking a second here, but bear with me. I'll get it, family. But I do want to put this in here. All right. Yeah. I know some of you guys probably saying like, "Hey, Pastor, should have had that ready prior to I tried." But let me bring this over real quick. I'm doing some of these things on the fly, but it is what it is. All right, let me bring this over so we can capture what we need to capture. All right, let's see here. All right. All right, that's what I want. All right. Let me export this real quick and then we'll get back into it. Bear with me 1 second, just trying to get this started so we could, and then I'll start getting into this article here. All right, there we go. All right, so let me get into this article, and then I'm going to let you hear from an Ashkenazi Jew. I want you to hear exactly what he says about what we're discussing right now, and he's going to confirm. He's going to confirm. All right, but let's read this real quick. This is coming from a reporter, a journalist by the name of Joel Stein from December 19th, 2008. He says this: "Who runs Hollywood? Come on. I have never been so upset by a poll in my life. Only 22% of Americans now believe the movie and television industry are pretty much run by Jews, down from nearly 50% in 1964. The Anti-Defamation League, which released the poll results last month, sees in these numbers a victory against stereotyping. Actually, it just shows how dumb America has gotten. Jews totally run Hollywood. How deeply Jewish is Hollywood, right? How deeply Jewish is Hollywood? When the studio chiefs took out a full page ad in the Los Angeles Times a few weeks ago to demand that the Screen Actors Guild settle its contract, the open letter was signed by News Corp President Peter Chernin, Jewish, Paramount Pictures Chairman Brad Gray, Jewish. It goes on to say Walt Disney co-chief executive Robert Iger, Jewish. Sony Pictures Chairman Michael Linton, surprise Dutch Jewish. It goes on to say Warner Brothers Chairman Barry Mayer, Jewish. CBS Corp Executive Leslie Moonves, so Jewish. His great uncle was the first prime minister of Israel. MGM Chairman Harry Sloan, Jewish. NBC Universal Chief Executive Jeff Zucker, mega Jewish. If either of the Jews, well, I didn't finish that sentence off when I copied this over, but it goes on to say Jews are so dominant, I had to scour the trades to come up with 6 Gentiles in high positions. But he goes on to say this, that when I called them to talk about their incredible advancement, 5 of them refused to talk to me. Why? Apparently out of fear of insulting Jews. Isn't that going back to what this particular person insinuated about Kanye West, this Jewish person?
I'm Jewish. My sister lives in Israel right now. And with everything happening, and even the fact that my sister is in danger, I'm slowly starting to realize that maybe Kanye was right. Maybe Kanye was right. Maybe Kanye was right. I'm slowly starting to realize that maybe Kanye was right. France banned any protest supporting Palestine. Germany did the same thing. And the United States, a country that's polarized and completely divided on almost any subject, is completely supported on both political sides of Israel, which is kind of scary because there is atrocities being done by Israel. You cannot deny that. And it's strange to me that celebrities, Hollywood, media, and our government is in complete support of Israel. And it feels like they have done nothing wrong.
All right. So you heard this is coming from the mouth of someone that is part of that community. All right. So it goes on to say, it says, when I called them to talk about their incredible advancement, 5 of them refused to talk to me, apparently out of fear of insulting Jews. The 6th EMC, President Charlie Collier, turned out to be Jewish. The Jews are so dominant, I had to scour the trades to come. Oh, that's a duplicate. As a proud Jew, I want America to know about our accomplishment. Yes, we control Hollywood. Now, this is again coming from Joel Stein. And for those of you guys that are watching this, I'll put this link inside the comment section, and then we'll continue because I don't want to just kind of spend a bulk of this, or spend most of this regurgitating what I taught on last week, right? We want to address another thing that Kanye pointed out. And let's go ahead and put this link, here in the comment section. All right. And I want to thank you, Sister Lisa. Thank you for the love and support again. Who's secular and who's bloodline? Absolutely. Absolutely. Who's secular and who's bloodline? And this is why, and I'll play this clip before I play the one that I really want to play. This is why this is key for each and every one of you guys to understand.
Today, it is prohibited, and you can Google this, to do a DNA test in Israel. Totally forbidden. Wrong. It's illegal. It's a crime. You'll be jailed if you do a DNA test in Israel. Why? Because they know the truth will come out. You come from Poland, you come from Ukraine, you came from Europe, you came from everywhere else. And they were the original Middle Eastern Jews who lived together with the Muslims and the Christians for centuries. For centuries. So what happened to a lot of the Jews?
All right. That's a great question, right? That is a great question. Let me do this here. So before we get to that portion of it, right, because I'm going to address some of those things, but let's go ahead and listen to this clip of a Jewish person making it clear that they run things in terms of when we start dealing with controlling the money and things along that line. But before I do that, let me finish this article up real quick, just so that way you guys can understand. It says here, yes, we control Hollywood. Without us, you'd be flipping between the 700 Club and Davy and Goliath on TV all day. So I've taken it upon myself to reconvince America that Jews run Hollywood by launching a public relations campaign, because that's what we do best. So this is making it clear. So what shifted from 2008 to now 2023 of, if you say that they run Hollywood, if you say that they control the media, if you say those things, what changed that back in 2008 this wasn't considered anti-Semitic, but now it's considered anti-Semitic? What changed within that timeline? What changed from almost 15 years ago? Is that what we're dealing with? Almost 15 years ago? What changed almost 15 years ago, where this Jewish person was able to say with confidence that, hey, they control Hollywood. But notice what it says here again. It says here, the Anti-Defamation League released a poll showing how they control things. All right. But anyway, I'm not going to get into all that about the poll of people believing that they control things. So let me play this this comment here by this particular Ashkenazi, and then we'll get back into it.
But we're stronger than you can imagine. That's why you hurl propaganda. We control all the money. We control all the money. We control all the money. We control the media because it's plausible. It's plausible because we're just that good.
And we got to give this stranger danger alert to this actor, Michael Rappaport. He says some ugly things about our community. So we got to give this stranger danger here.
Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger!
Right? So you see, you heard it from his own mouth that it's plausible that they control all the money, they control all the media. Let me play it one more time, just so that way you hear from his own mouth. Let me let you hear it one more time.
But we're stronger than you can imagine. That's why you hurl propaganda. We control all the money. We control all the money. We control all the money. We control the media because it's plausible. It's plausible because we're just that good.
So he made it clear. They are just that good. They are just that good. We can't talk about them. We can't make any comments about them controlling anything. If we say that, then we're labeled as anti-Semitic, right? So I want to pivot here. I want to move right along to another thing here. If we go back to, let's go back here to his comment, and we'll deal with, we may deal with the Middle East. I want to deal with this comment right here, right? I actually can't be anti-Semitic because Black people are actually Jews. That's what he said here, because Black people are actually Jew. Now, of course, we know, and I'm not going to get into the history of the word Jew every time I mention that word. Brothers and sisters, I understand the origin of this word. We understand the origins of this word. So please don't flood the comment section and saying what we should or what we should not be calling ourselves. I understand what it means. We all understand what it means. But I am using this using his words here, Kanye West words, and we're just discussing this here. So, all right. So he says here, the funny thing is I actually can't be anti-Semitic because Black people are actually Jews. Also, so I'll stay right there. I'm not going to get into the other portion of his phrase, his post, his tweet. So let's go back here, and I want you to hear someone say, express what their feelings about what Kanye West said about our people being Israelites. Of course, he used the word Jew, but of course that is a word of confusion, and it's being used synonymously with the word Israel or Israelite. Here we go.
The entire Bible is about Black people. Not only was Jesus Black, but every character in the Bible seems to be Black too. Yeah, Zephaniah and Jeremiah and Jebediah, those all aren't white people names, okay? And Jesus wasn't some tan, partially melanated Middle Eastern person either. I'm talking straight up Black dude, okay? Even in the book of Revelation, when you get the vision of Daniel, he's describing someone with feet like burnt brass and white woolly hair, and we've got the deep running water voice with the red eyes, and you guys, he's Black. The Jewish people are Black people, like Kanye was right.
Planned Parenthood was made by Margaret Sanger, a known eugenics with the KKK, to control the Jew population. When I say Jew, I mean the 12 lost tribes of Judah, the blood of Christ, who the people known as the race Black really are.
All right. So, family, let's get into another thing that I want to highlight. And forgive me, I'm trying to do this as we progress here. I'm kind of doing this. How can I put it? Kind of doing this on the fly, kind of piecing this together as we go along. I was trying again. I didn't have enough time to put this lesson together because of issues that I was having with StreamYard and uploading and all that stuff. So it took a lot of time. So let's go and deal with this here. I want to deal with this video right here. I'm going to play this clip here, and then we're going to we're going to transition far as what Kanye West pointed out about the Negroes being Israelites. We're going to transition over to that thought, but let me use this video clip to segue, use this as a segue of making as we make that transition.
I took a DNA test recently when I was 23. And I found out I'm 99% Ashkenazi Jewish, and I'm 1% Eastern European Jewish, which I did some research, and basically all that means is I'm 100% a product of incest. I don't know if you guys know, except for the one you here, Ashkenazi Jews are all from the same 300-person tribe from the Middle East.
Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger!
Now, you heard this comedian say that basically in a nutshell, he's 100% European. But then he goes on to say that he's from a group of 300 people, a tribe of 300 people from the Middle East. So that's why you heard the stranger danger. That's why I had to sound the alarm. I had to sound the alarm, the stranger danger alarm. Let me sound it one more time.
Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger!
All right. Stranger danger. He said that he was 100% European. He said, I forgot the percentage. Let me play it one more time just to make sure that I don't misquote him. Let me play it one more time.
I took a DNA test recently when I was 23, and I found out I'm 99% Ashkenazi Jewish, and I'm 1% Eastern European Jewish.
Okay, so he said he's 99% Ashkenazi Jew, 1% Eastern European Jew. What does that mean? That means that he's 100% European. 100% European. That's the words out of his mouth. So with that being said, you guys know the playbook. You guys know where I'm going to go at. First, let's look at Ashkenaz. Let's see who Ashkenaz is or Ashkenazi is. Let's go to Genesis chapter 10, starting at verse 2. You guys already know this, but this is not trying to insult any of you guys. But this is just so that way for those that are watching for the first time, they can see and understand how to defend this. So we see here verse 2, the sons of Japheth, Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshach, Tyrus, and the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, right? Ashkenaz. We see Ashkenaz here. Let me highlight it. Ashkenaz, right? And he said that he's an Ashkenazi what? Jew. And we see that Ashkenaz is the son of Gomer, ultimately the grandson of Japheth. So how can you be Shemitic and how can you be of Japheth at the same time? Come on, family. That should raise all kinds of red flags. That should raise all kinds of red flags. This is why when you try to force a square peg inside a triangle, right, you start hearing comments like this.
So a little over 1,000 years ago, as Jewish people scattered around the world had now immigrated in Europe and now were living in the Rhineland in Germany, they looked at the name Gomer in Genesis 10, and they connected Gomer with Germany. So they took on the identity of the name Ashkenaz. It has nothing to do with Ashkenaz in the Bible, which is a descendant of Japhet. It's just a name that was taken. Okay, it's that simple. Just like my last name Brown doesn't refer to the color of my skin or anything else. It was shortened from a Russian name when my grandfather came over. at Ellis Island, the name got shortened to, it's just a name. That's all it is. So the idea that Ashkenazi Jews are descended from Yafet is a myth, 100% false.
Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger!
So, family, you heard the contradictions. You heard the contradictions. I'm not going to repeat what he said, but that you heard the contradictions. Did you guys not hear the contradictions? If you heard the contradictions, hey, type 1. If you heard the contradictions, type 1. Right? I'm sure you guys heard the contradiction. There was, man, that stranger danger, family. Come on, family. Stranger danger. If you guys want to scream out, just type 1 for stranger danger in your agreement that it was all out in left field, that he contradicted himself. That is the stranger danger alert. Stranger danger. And if you want to put 1 and type in stranger danger, we're going to echo that. That's going to be the echo until I drop my next video over the next couple of days about stranger danger. It's going to be titled Stranger Danger. So type 1 stranger danger if you agree that it was confusing, that he was all over the place, that he contradicted himself. Stranger danger. Come on, family. We're going to use that when we teach our young people, when we teach them to, if a stranger tried to come and talk to them and things like that, scream out stranger danger. So right now, family, we're going to take that approach here. Whenever you start hearing contradictory stuff like we just heard, you scream out stranger danger, or you type in stranger danger. If I play a clip and this way out in left field, guess what? Type in stranger danger. That's going to be our thing. Stranger danger. So when you go to some of these other platforms that are trying to contradict the word, trying to contradict who we are, they all over the place, just put stranger danger. Right? Come on, let's allow that to resonate. Stranger danger. All right. But anyway, let's go ahead and continue with this here. So I'm not going to go into the definition of the word Gomer, right? So again, as we highlighted, we touched on Ashkenaz, right? He is part of Gomer. All right. Let me fast forward this. This is dealing with something different, but let me explain this here, because that Jewish person made it clear. He said he was 99% Ashkenazi Jew and 1% European Jew. Now, I want to make this clear. This is not trying to belittle him or anyone, but this is dealing with exactly the information that he pointed out. I'm not trying to disrespect or mock any community, but I'm dealing with doctrine. I'm dealing with exactly what was presented. I'm dealing with what Dr. Michael Brown and others have been saying, because I'm sure all of us want to know, why is it illegal to do DNA tests over in Israel? Why do you have to go to the courts to have a DNA test over in Israel? And again, you guys know this clip. I'll play it real quick for those that are joining us for the first time.
Today, it is prohibited, and you can Google this, to do a DNA test in Israel. Totally forbidden. Wrong. It's illegal. It's a crime. You'll be jailed if you do a DNA test in Israel. Why? Because they know the truth will come out. You come from Poland, you come from Ukraine, you came from Europe, you came from everywhere else. And they were the original Middle Eastern Jews who lived together with the Muslims and the Christians for centuries. For centuries. So what happened to a lot of the Jews?
Yeah, what happened? What happened? Well, as you see here, right, this is an article, John Hopkins, Aaron Elhike. He is a geneticist from that community. Notice what he wrote here. This is coming out of Khazaria. Evidence for Jewish genome lacking. This is what he says. Aaron Elhike, a geneticist at the Johns Hopkins School of Public Health, thinks so. In a recently published study of genome biology evolution, he is calling for a rewrite of commonly held assumptions about Jewish ancestry. Instead of being primarily the descendants of the 12 tribes of Israel, present day Jewish population R finds El Haik primarily the children of a Turkish people who lived in what is now Russia, north of Georgia, east of Ukraine. This civilization, the Khazars, converted from tribal religions to Judaism between the 7th and 9th centuries. So we have a Jewish geneticist, an Ashkenazi Jewish geneticist from one of the top hospitals in the world, medical hospitals in the world, John Hopkins. And you notice what he said. You read along with what he said. You read along with me. All right. So let me put something else here. I read this here, but let me go ahead and put this here. Let's see here. I want to, because I have all kinds of people making comments, and in denial. I had people trying to say, no, it's not illegal to do DNA testing. It's not outlawed and all that other stuff. So let me go to, did I put it here? All right, let me see here. Find next. Oh, I thought I had it in this one. Not this. Let me go to another art. Well, while I'm looking for this, and I apologize, family. Normally I'm prepared. Let me see if it's in this one. All right, let's see here. All right, let's see here. Yeah, I thought I had it in this one, family. Where is it? All right, Title 6. That's not what I want to deal with. Oh, I have it here. I found it. Is that it? Nope, that's not it. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Yeah, I had it in one of my presentations, and I can't remember which one it's in. Let me see here. Let me try one more. Let me try this one here. Bear with me 1 second, family. I thought I was in this one, but let me try one more. If not, we'll get back into it. I want to read the article. All right, let me close this one out. Tell you. All right, let me see if it's in this one. Yeah, I think I found it. Yeah. All right, let me copy this one over. Yeah, I found the article. I found it. Thank you. Yeah. All right, let me copy this over. Right, because it is illegal. All right, let's copy this over. All right. See this now, it's starting to see. That's why I'm not trying to get into any of the conspiracy stuff. You know, when things start going haywire like this, you know, it makes you wonder and start thinking about, you know, the scripts and algorithms and, you know, a number of other things that I'm not going to mention here. Start making you wonder. All right, let me go ahead and do this here. Don't want that one. All right, let me just save this here. All right. I found it, family. Let me read this article here. All right. All right. So we'll get to that in a second here, but let me address the 300 people that comedian mentioned. DNA ties Ashkenazi Jews to group of just 330 people from the Middle Ages. Now that comedian quoted, he said from the Middle East. Let me read that again. DNA ties Ashkenazi Jews to group of just 330 people from the Middle Ages. But let's go back to the comment that this person made, this Jewish person made. All right. And I got my cousin coming in, but let me play this here and I'm going to bring my cousin in here. But let me play this clip real quick as I bring my cousin Benaya in. Let's see it.
I took a DNA test recently when I was 23 and I found out I'm 99% Ashkenazi Jewish, and I'm 1% Eastern European Jewish, which I did some research, and basically all that means is I'm 100% a product of incest. I don't know if you guys know, except for the one Jew here, Ashkenazi Jews are all from the same 300-person tribe from the Middle East.
Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger!
All right, family. So you heard him say that he's 99% Ashkenazi Jew, 1% European Jew, and then he said that he can pinpoint it to 300, a tribe of 300 people in the Middle East. Actually, it's 330 people from the Middle Ages. And I'll read this real quick and I'll bring my cousin on, let him chime in. I want to say shout outs to my cousin Benaya. Let me go ahead and read this real quick. This is coming from the LA Times, the Los Angeles Times. DNA ties Ashkenazi Jews to a group of just 330 people from the Middle Ages, not the Middle East, not at the Middle East. It says here, and this is coming from Nature Communication. I have that source as well. I'm not going to read the whole thing here, but it says here, an international team of scientists sequenced the complete genomes of 128 healthy Ashkenazi Jews and compared each of those sequences with the others, as well as with the DNA of 26 Flemish people from Belgium. Their analysis allowed them to trace the genetics roots of this population to a founding group in the Middle Ages, not Middle East, not Northeast Africa. It says not the antiquities, not the times of the ancient Israelites, but it says to the Middle Ages. And the Middle Ages that they're referring to is what they would call, the Middle Age proper, right? Which is from the period of the 10th century on to the 15th century. This is not dealing with from the 4th century to I would say the end or mid of the 9th century, because they refer to that as the Dark Ages. Why? Because that's the time that the Moors ruled, right? So they refer to that as being the Dark Ages. So they're not referring to that period. See, when we think of many of us think of Middle Ages, we think that we kind of confuse this and kind of mesh it in with ancient, right? No, Middle Ages is not during that period. So it says here a founding population group in the Middle Ages. Ashkenaz in Hebrew refers to Germany, and Ashkenazi Jews are those who originated in the Middle East. All right. Shout outs to my cousin Benaiah. Going to bring you on here. Let you say peace to the people. And if you're speaking, cuz, unmute yourself.
Hey, peace and blessings, cuz. Let's see here. I think am I still in the back?
I can hear you now.
Oh, you can hear me. Okay. Yeah, peace and blessings, family. Hopefully everyone's doing well. Hallelujah. Let's see.
Now I know I've been, I'm kind of freestyling here a little bit. I didn't have a chance to put my PowerPoint together like I normally do. But what are your thoughts, Benaiah, on some of the things like one of the things that we talked about initially was anti-Semitism and how it's defined, and letting the people hear Kanye West quote, but then also play some clips of even someone from the Jewish community saying that Kanye was right about who controls the media, who controls, the money, who controls Hollywood. I even played the Ashkenazi Jewish actor, Michael Rappaport, with him saying that, hey, they control the money, they control the media. He said it's plausible, you know what I mean? And bragging said that, hey, they good, they're smart people. Anyway. So what are your thoughts, cuz?
Yeah, no, I've said it before, cuz it's like
Hey, cuz, you're breaking up. You just went out. So if you can hear me, your signal just went out.
Sorry about that. Yeah, just clicked on mute. Sorry about that. Hopefully my audio's back.
Okay, yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, but yeah, no, I was just saying that it's filled with hypocrisy, because especially when you talk about the whole controlling the media thing. I said it once, I said it before, I'll say it again. There's a museum. They literally created a museum where they're charging people, and it's a brand new museum. Has multiple floors on it, and it has all these temporary exhibits, but they have one permanent exhibit that they're working on, and the single permanent exhibit that's in there is an exhibit dedicated to the Jewish founders of Hollywood. And there was a stink about it because they didn't have it in there originally, and all of a sudden it caused an uproar. Even with Jonathan Greenblatt, of all people, of the ADL, he literally wrote an opinion piece in the Hollywood Reporter, touting and about this snafu that occurred, and he went into detail about how important it was to have the Jewish founders listed in there, because they were the founders of they literally built Hollywood is what they wrote in there. So yeah, it's hard to even entertain that, because one, they created a museum for it, and two, they're writing about it in papers themselves. It's just that they only call it anti-Semitism when somebody else says the same thing that they're saying, which is racist in my opinion.
And see, to your point, because I shared an article from 2009 by a guy, a journalist, a Jewish journalist by the name of Joel Stein. And 2009, he bragging about it. He said, hey, everyone should know this, that they control Hollywood, and then you see, as I pointed out, to now we're in 2023 or 2022, a year ago. It's like, what happened? What occurred from 2009 to 2022 per se, when they came up with their own, I want to say kind of like a generic list of what anti-Semitism is. Now they're saying if you say that they control Hollywood, basically that is considered anti-Semitism. So to your point, you're explaining that, hey, well, actually, I'll let you explain it one more time for those that may have heard it but may not be clear. If you want to repeat it to them one more time, or someone that may be joining us and probably caught the tail end of what you pointed out.
Yeah, no. I mean, I was just pointing to how illegitimate that word is. Like the this made up, manufactured definition that they've come up with for anti-Semitism, which includes, like to your point, which includes, saying that they own or run Hollywood, when in fact, there's a museum that was created, for and by the Jewish community, which touts about the Jewish founders of Hollywood. And like I was saying before, there was only one permanent exhibit in the entire museum, and it's about the Jews running Hollywood. That's the permanent museum that's in the. No, I'm sorry, that's the permanent exhibit that's in the museum. So I mean, like I said, there's all kinds of hypocrisies that's out there, and that's why I'm so glad that the Nation of Islam of all people are challenging this ever-changing definition of the word anti-Semitism, because it can't mean anything. I mean, it can't mean everything, right? It has to mean something. If you're gonna go by what the definition is in the dictionary, it doesn't mean all this stuff, right? But they're applying, this. I mean, it changes all the time because it.
Yeah, it's kind of like what that old saying: "Whoever control the pages control your thoughts." Mm-hmm. And so they're making every effort, an assertive effort, to control all the pages, from the media, as what's his name, the Michael Rappaport. I'll play his clip real quick so no one can say that I am making this up. Let me play it real quick. It's a 17-second clip. Here it is, the soundbite.
But we're stronger than you can imagine. That's why you hurl propaganda. We control all the money. We control all the money. We control all the money. We control the media because it's plausible. It's plausible because we're just that good.
So he literally says we're just that good.
Yeah,
I mean, throw it in our face. Like, in other words, they're very good at what? Getting in front of their narrative of what they want us and others to say and not to say.
Mm-hmm.
So now, 1 minute is not anti-Semitic. Now it's anti-Semitic. If you say it, it's all right, like you just pointed out, for him to say that they control it. But they wrote it down in their document that Kanye West quoted. Let me go back to this, family, just so you guys can understand just how warped this whole thing is. And let me make this clear. Judge Joe Brown made it clear that there's not a single law. This is not in the law books, but this is what is being pushed as if it's in the law books. But let me go back to this one area right here. Right here. From their document that's on a government website, but it says making mendacious, dehumanizing, demonizing, or stereotypical allegations about Jews as such, or as the power of Jews as a collective, especially but not exclusively, the myth about a world Jewish conspiracy, or of Jewish controlling the media, economy, government, or societal institutions. They just was like, look, we're going to try to throw everything we could put in there. You know what I mean? We're going to make sure you can't say anything.
Yeah, it's funny because I think I have this in a video called Black Germany. And it's actually it's a video called it was originally called Black Germany. I think it's now called Black Apocalypse. But basically, family, it was a video that details the history of the ADL. And what people don't know, or what some people may not know, is that when they were founded in 1913, in September of 1913, the very first act that they did as an organization, or one of the very first acts that they did as an organization, was get into film censorship. They literally started creating censorship boards, and this is what I show in the video. In the video, I go through different periodicals or newspaper articles during that time to show that they were reporting about how the ADL, who had just formed, started to form censorship boards across the country. And if you look up the word censorship, or the definition of the word censorship, you'll find that is a form of control. So literally, they were creating institutions of control of Hollywood from the time that they were created. That's why I say, family, like this whole thing, this weaponization of anti-Semitism, family. I mean, it's a sham. It's a total sham.
Exactly. And you hit it right on the nail, cuz and that's the thing that for me that really frustrates me is because is I believe, this is my thoughts, that they strategically aligned themselves with our community just to say that, hey, if something comes up, if we have anything to say or anything to protest or disagree with, hey, we marched with you guys. Hey, we was part of your struggle. And not many of us not knowing our history, they were part of the struggle and part of, and what I mean by that is they were a pillar of what you know what I mean, of what actually created the struggles. They were on both sides of the fence. They were the Democrats of that time. They had a major play in that because they were slave owners. They benefited tremendously. They dominated the slave trade or the transatlantic world war. And so they was on that side of the coin of the what you call it, the Confederate. They were, they had, KKK. They were part anyway. You know where I'm going at with that. So how can you out of one breath say that you are part of our struggle, you march with us, but then when you start going to the root of the issues that our community that's plaguing our community, they are at the root of it. Their community is at the root of it. You don't have any Arabs that, not that I know of for the most part. And if I'm wrong, I'll apologize. But for the most part, who own those project apartment complexes? Who own those? We don't own it. For the most part, they own it. But anyway, go ahead, cuz I want to.
No, I was just gonna confirm what you were just saying, and just let everyone know that a lot of what you're saying is echoed in articles like from the New York Times. Like there was a New York Times article that said the exact same thing about how that the knowledge of their involvement in the slave trade is well known, is well documented. There are many books about it. Those books aren't called anti-Semitic, right? But it's only, like I keep telling people, only when a black person says it, they like folks like throwing that label on it, right? But especially back to your point, because it's like when you look across history and you start to find a certain hand behind a lot of the struggles that we've gone through. Like for instance, once we let's go back to the emancipation, right? 1865, the end of the end of slavery, right? And the KKK, the first iteration of the KKK manifests, terrorizes black folks. However, we were fortunate that the federal government cracked down on family and almost annihilated the Ku Klux Klan at the time. However, and also family, they froze their assets, right? They froze their assets. They were arresting people and they were almost down and out. They were pretty much done for. However, there was a person by the name of Judah P. Benjamin. Judah P. Benjamin was, by all accounts, an Ashkenazi Jew. And Judah P. Benjamin, what you'll find in the history books is that he single-handedly supported or resuscitated the Ku Klux Klan during these troubled times. When their assets were frozen, Judah P. Benjamin provided funding for them. Judah P. Benjamin provided the horses, firearms, I want to say like the nooses and all that stuff in the wardrobes for the Ku Klux Klan. All that is documented. And actually, I think I covered that in the documentary as well, The Black Apocalypse. And that's just, like I said, that's just one of the examples of when you look through history, you start finding these cases where they weren't forced, like they were on the other side of the fence. And it's understandable because when you look back at history, a lot of that community during the time of slavery, right, especially in the South. They played the part, or they joined the Confederate Army. They were part of the Confederate Army. And of course, when the Confederate Army was disbanded, a lot of those former veterans then became or joined the Ku Klux Klan. So that's why it's not a surprise to find that hidden hand, against us, or from the very beginning.
I appreciate it, because I'm just restarting my PowerPoint, because now it's acting quirky now. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Just so happened it was working fine, until I went to do this live. And now it's doing stuff that is never done before. I mean, I'm literally having to restart my PowerPoint.
Yeah.
It's not allowing me to do anything. And, our thoughts on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can continue on while I fix this here, bring this back up.
Yeah, no, man. Just want to kind of reiterate that a lot of this information that we're sharing with you, family, it's well documented. It's written in books that's not labeled as anti-Semitic or anti anything, right? They're just plain old history books, and all we're doing is just taking that information that's been confirmed and is not up for debate, and we're just bringing that information to the forefront. And it is surprising a lot of people. A lot of people don't, like I said, you don't know about the Benjamin Judah P. Benjamin, right, and his hand in the revitalization or the resuscitation of the Ku Klux Klan. During that time when they were being targeted by the federal government, right? When the federal government was trying to put them out of business, we had Judah P. Benjamin keeping them in business almost single-handedly. And then, right just before we have all those massacres in the Black community, and I'm talking about the Black Wall Street. What's the one? We have of course, Red Summer, where you had multiple cities across the country, as well as I'm just trying to think of the one that's down in Florida, but the one that's down in Florida, Rosewood. Thank you. But all that happened during the same time, right? And during that time, it's funny that you have you showed a picture of blackface. So blackface was actually on the films, right? It was during that time when, like I said, like we were saying before, the Jews built Hollywood. Well, this was during that building phase. During the building phases, you had blackface all over TV, blackface all over the stage, right? And they were also selling the paint for blackface as well, right? And and also during this time, the Ku Klux Klan was getting ready to be reborn, and they were reborn based off of the this blockbuster film called Birth of a Nation. And what I tell people is that when you look at Birth of a Nation, guess who helped put it together? There was the wardrobe was put together by Robert Goldstein, might be mispronouncing his name. So when you watch that film and you look at the characters dressed in those Ku Klux Klan hoods, guess who provided the wardrobe for that, right? And then also the entire film was filmed by Billy Bitzer, right? And also funding. They funded the film. Distributors like MGM Studio, like that's the film that actually got them off the ground, made them their millions of dollars, and they made their fortune to the point where even today, when you look at their symbol, you'll see the picture of a lion, but right underneath the lion, you'll see a racist picture of a blackface character right underneath the lion, and people miss that, right? And also the movie theaters that film was shown in, like Erlanger and Claw, that was also out of that same community. So, and this, like I said, this was just before the massacres occurred in the Black communities. And so all this happened. That film got off the ground. Film became a blockbuster hit. Ku Klux Klan was revitalized. Next thing you know, the Ku Klux Klan becomes revitalized in Oklahoma, Tulsa, Oklahoma. A few months later, the Black Wall Street occurs, right? And we see that same pattern through the Black communities, right? Just before these massacres occurred, we find that the Ku Klux Klan was reborn, and then the massacres occurred. And this is why when I talk about reparations, I'm a huge proponent of, you can't talk reparations without coming back to that community. You can't talk reparations without addressing it with the ADL directly, because they owe our community a substantial amount of reparations. You thought that,
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, you thought that Louis Farrakhan, his was $3 billion lawsuit was big. Family, the lawsuit that our community needs to place against these institutions, including the ADL, will dwarf that $3.5 billion, because they owe our community big time in reparations.
Absolutely. You're hitting it right on the nail. You're hitting it right on the nail. And I know we have some within the community that'll say, hey, let's let the Most High give us our reparations. Family, that's not how reparations work, right? Reparations is in place for whatever country that, let's just say, defeated another country. That country gives restitution, so that way that country that the country that was conquered is independent of them. They won't have a dependency on them. So you look up the word reparation. That's pretty much what it means. And when you read Exodus chapter 12, you'll see that Israel was told to go and demand reparations from the Egyptians.
I was getting ready to say that.
It's right there in the
Yep.
scripture.
Yep.
They were told to go and you'll see the word borrow in some of the translations, but we know the Most High is not taking them out of bondage and then take out a loan from the Egyptians. No, they were told to go and demand reparations. That's the proper translation. Demand reparations from the Egyptians, and it makes it clear that Israel came out left out of Egypt with wealth, and you can confirm this as well with many of the Egyptian writings, right? But anyway, to your point, and that's why I want to tie this into this, what you just pointed out, that the Most High already made it clear that the other nations is going to pay up what they owe. I'm going to do a special lesson on that. But every time you see restitution, you see that the Most High is the other nations or the offender paying for what they had done. So don't forfeit what's rightfully ours by saying the Most High is going to do X, Y, and Z. Normally, when the Most High does things, he uses who? People. So great point, because that you pointed out, because that's my firm belief as well, is that not just the United States, but institutions. We need to go at the institutions, because these institutions are worldwide, not just limited to the United States. They all owe us, from, if we want to be real about it, the Jewish community, the Christianity, Catholicism, Islam owe us. All these different belief systems owe our people. Anyway, I'm sorry, cuz anything you want to add on to that?
Yeah, I mean, well, just to kind of bring it current. I mean, because people may look at that and say, "Man, well, that was a long time ago. That doesn't have anything to do with today." Not knowing that certain that we had things like what do you call it? Is it redistricting? Is that the term, cuz?
Yeah, redistricting, and then you also have gerrymandering. That's connected to that. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, in other words, there are things that's happening today, family, that even from stuff from today, we need reparations from. I mean, just to kind of keep it general, even as our community wakes up, the awakenings, worldwide, it's the Most High's awakening. Nobody's going to stop it, but that's not going to stop them from trying to stop it, right? So you may not know this, family, but there is an initiative that has been around since the very beginning of this awakening, right? I mean, even I've seen it all the way back to the year 2008, right, where the ADL has worked with social media, like right when this awakening. For me, family, I don't know about you, but I came into the awakening probably like around 2015, 2016. But also right around that time, family, a lot of people in the community were waking up. And it's during this time, family, that we see that the ADL start working behind the scenes, which is their MO, behind the scenes with social media to suppress your messages, to suppress your views, to suppress your reach, to suppress your audience. And if you were trying to be monetized, they were suppressing your revenue, right? And like stuff like that, even stuff like that, family, which is still happening today. You need reparations for that. So yeah, family, it hasn't stopped, family. It has not stopped.
I'm sorry, my bad. I had my mic muted out. But you hit it on the nail, cuz you're hitting it on the nail. And family, this is one of many articles and sources that we could pull. But I want to bring this up here. As you can see, who's wearing this KKK outfit here? You see the headline here. I'm going to back it up a little bit. Klan leader here, hiding the secret of his Jewish origin, preaches anti-Semitism. All right. And that's what this article is about here. Not going to read it. But then also, as you mentioned about blackface, right? Let me go here. Al Jolson, who is referred to as the world's greatest entertainer. Guess what, family? As you see here, Al Jolson, born Asa Jolson in Lithuania to Jewish parents. The actor-singer known at the height of his popularity as the world's greatest entertainment, often performed blackface. But then this is one of his famous movies here, Mammy, right? And that's him. This is a Jewish guy, right? And another thing I want to highlight real quick. Let me see here. I want to read something here that from this article, Jewish Telegraphic Agency. This is what they're saying. This is their publication, right? But notice what it says here. It says, let me see here. I was trying to get, oh yeah, right here. Blackface has a long Jewish history. Let me zooming in. You know what I mean? You know how it goes, cuz you got to get these sources and actually make sure that they understand we're reading from sources. When I say they, those that are monitoring what we're doing here. All right. Let me see here. I'm going to try to copy this link so that way you guys can vet what I'm presenting to you. I'm going to copy it in the chat right now. All right. But look at what it says, family. It says, let me send this to back. It says that, again, it says blackface has a long Jewish history. All right. A long Jewish history. The practice originated in the late 1820s with white male performers portraying African American characters by applying burnt cork to their faces. All right. Let's see here. We see here, as you see here, what it highlights here. It says to a depiction of Southern Black life. Mark Twain, Abraham Lincoln were known to attend minstrel shows. All right. You see here, this Jewish guy right here, Bert Williams. The most prominent, it says here, the most prominent Black entertainers of vaudeville era darkened their faces in this way. So many of the Black entertainers from our community began to mimic this because it was, their community was dominant. They were making all the money. This was like the I guess the gimmick or the fad of that time, right? So let's see here. There's one more thing I want to see. Notice what this says here, right? And these are some Jewish guys. It says, in addition to Jolson leading Jewish entertainers who also performed in blackface include such prominent names as Eddie Cantor, George Burns, George Jessel, and Sophie Tucker. Jews played a disproportionate role in the entertainment industry. Man, that's a mic drop right there, right? So you have this information in front of you. But what changed since 2009? You know what I mean? Even though you highlighted that, cuz, but you see, they want to pivot from that. They know they dominated. They know that they hold the advantage to all of this. But now it's anti-Semitic if you make reference to it.
Yeah, it's interesting because I mean it's even worse than what you've shown on the screen because it's like, guess who sold the paint, like that cork paint that you were talking about? Guess who sold it? Guess who made it, manufactured it, packaged it up, and sold it and advertised it? Right? It was I think one of the manufacturers was Stein, right? Stein, which came from the community. And then the other point about, you brought up Jolson, Al Jolson, right? And Al Jolson and friends, his you can actually get a DVD or Blu-ray or whatever media you want of that show, or I'm not even sure if it's called a movie, but whatever it's called, family, you can actually get that on Amazon. You can get that, all these other different places where they were trying to ban Hebrews and Negroes, and that's the reason why we had such a huge problem with this, a huge problem with them going after Kyrie, was because at the same time they were trying to call out Kyrie Irving for posting that Hebrews to Negroes, at the same time on those same platforms you had Birth of a Nation, which was single-handedly responsible for the revitalization of the Ku Klux Klan, which also was directly responsible for the massacres that occurred in the Black community. At the same time, on those same platforms, you had Al Jolson and friends and other works on those same platforms, right? And they were not targeted, they were not banned, they were not, I think wasn't there like a group of like 200 Hollywood executives or something, some executive group, wrote out to or petition Amazon to try to pull Hebrews and Negroes out. At the same time, they had Birth of a Nation still up.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's one-sided. You can even, people don't like it when you use the discrimination word, but it's hard not to use it when you see it okay for one group, but it's not okay for another.
Yeah. And case in point, they're the only community that can claim to be Asiatic and Caucasian at the same time. Because the legal system recognized them as Caucasian, but they can claim Shemitic or Semitic, and Semitic is connected to Semite is a subgroup of the Afro-Asiatic, who's known to be Afro-Asiatic, the Afro-Asiatics. So the way things are rigged right now, they could claim both sides of the coin, which leads me back to this video here. I'll share it again and get your thoughts on it, and I'll share, family, for those that are watching. I'll share what they say about the DNA testing, their community. You guys know this source. I show it all the time, but I want to play this clip one more time because you can elaborate on it as well. Here we go.
I took a DNA test recently when I was 23. and I found out I'm 99% Ashkenazi Jewish, and I'm 1% Eastern European Jewish, which I did some research, and basically all that means is I'm 100% a product of incest. I don't know if you guys know, except for the one Jew here, Ashkenazi Jews are all from the same 300-person tribe from the Middle East.
Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger!
All right, guys, any thoughts? Stranger danger.
Yep. That's right, man. I mean, it's in that that DNA report. It talked about how the founder Ashkenazi group could be divided into two groups. One group was in the the so-called Middle East, and they named places like Saudi Arabia, Iran, and some of those other areas, countries around there. But then the other group was what they referred to as, I think they called it Russia, right? It was like Eastern Russia, Southern Russia. But basically it was the territory of the Khazars was where that other group came from. And of course, when you look at that, you say, well, wait a minute, that's from the territory of Khazars. So basically what you're saying in your own report is that according to DNA, the founder group, part of the founder group did in fact come from the Khazars. And not only did they list it out, not only did they say that, hey, this one other group comes from this part in Russia, they went as far as giving the haplogroup, like the Y haplogroup. This is a part of the DNA that comes from the male lineage, is passed from father to son, on down. And that haplogroup was it's something like R1B1. And in the genetic world, they know where R1B1 comes from. And when you look at it on the map, it comes from the territory of the Khazars and even ancient biblical Ashkenaz as well. So all this data family is lining up, and it's hard to refute this information. And that's why I think if the Nation of Islam's court case, if it makes it into court, there's plenty of evidence that will refute, the Semitic, how can I put it, the Semitic claims of heritage, and there's plenty of DNA evidence to confirm the Japhetic heritage in court. And you might be on mute, Gus.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, I had it on mute. I was tearing these potato chips up while you were speaking, so I didn't want to crunch. But yeah, and even in family, this is why I want to share with you these, and that's why we're having this discussion, because the more we talk about it, the more this start reaching those higher levels. We already know that it's reaching certain spaces, but really, the more that we talk about it, the more pressure as a community we began to apply, because it shouldn't be that we want to come together and boycott because we see what's happening to another community. We should be doing this because of what's happening to our community. To what my cousin pointed out, about the different things that we are continuously dealing with, the influence of AIPAC and the ADL on the leadership in our community, the gerrymandering, the redistricting, and all those different things. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. So this right here, and what I mentioned earlier is, why do they have it outlawed in Israel right now among the Israelis about the DNA? You have to get a court order. You can't just do like we could do over here. Say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna do my 23andMe and bam, here we go. No, you can't do that over there. Over there, you mess around, and catch a case. You know what I mean? Because they outlawed it there. And let me just go ahead and read this real quick, because I know that from time to time, and I've had some of our own brothers and sisters posting in the comments saying that it's not true. Well, since we have it right here, I'm going to prove it to you that it's true over there. Then I'm going to share another source that I've had for years, that about 23andMe. But anyway, it says here, want to fully understand your family genealogy, not without a court order. And this is Jerusalem Post. This is their publication. Jerusalem Post is their publication. Want to fully understand your family genealogy, not without a court order. According to some ancestry websites, there are indicators to tell you if you possess Jewish DNA or not. If you live in Israel and want to find out where your family comes from, what do? One thing is for certain, any ancestry kit from the local pharmacy is out of the question, according to Yediot Aronot report. While millions of such kits have been sold in the United States, Israelis are forbidden to buy ancestry DNA kits from the store without presenting a court order, as the Israeli government controls these types of purchases due to the genetic information law. So let me pull this over. It's another thing I want to pull over, since we mentioned 23andMe, because many of you guys may not understand it or know that 23andMe was taken to court by those guys, by that community, right? But let me highlight something here real quick, just a little blurb here from 23andMe. All right, let's see here. All right, let me fast forward. Why did 23andMe tell the Ashkenazi Jews they could be descendants from Khazars? Well, notice this here. The genomics company, 23andMe, has retracted a statement. Why? Because they were taken to court, made on the profiles of some users with Ashkenazi heritage, that they may be descendants from an extinct tribe from the Caucasus known as Khazars. So they used to have Khazars listed there. Now they don't. They'll have Ashkenazi and they'll have the region highlighted, as far as Germany, Russia, that area, but they will not tell them, or they will not list the name Khazarians or Khazars there. Inadvertently wading into, and I didn't put the whole thing here. I'll drop the article here, but I just want to just share that a little bullet from this article years ago about this. And last thing I want to highlight real quick, and then I'll turn it over to you guys. Why, right? That comedian said that he was 99% Ashkenazi, right? If that word Khazar or Khazaria was there, then guess what? It will raise even more questions. Because, like, wait a minute, Khazarian, how is that tying into Northeast Africa? So you guys know this article. I go to it from time to time. This is the forward. This is their own publication. It says Iberian and Greek populations. Well, actually, I'll start here. Ashkenazi Jews often find themselves in a peculiar situation of being 90% Ashkenazi Jew or Jewish and 99% European. So regardless of the fact, they are at least, you for the most part, when you see their DNA, it'll say 99%. It'll be in the upwards of between 95, but for the most part, on the average, 99% European. Even though it says 90% Ashkenazi Jew, that's telling you that's still part of what? The Europeans. Now, this is just saying that out of that 90%, right? 9% are, referencing other countries, European countries. It could be Hungary, Romania, and in some cases now they separating Germany from the Khazarian territories and Ashkenazi territories. But anyway, it goes on to say Sephardic Jews may be told that they are mostly Middle Eastern and North African, and less than 10% Ashkenazic. But it goes on to say Stuart Schaufman, a travel writer and blogger who writes under the name Broke, I'm not going to mention his name, said he brought a kid from 23andMe. Even though his family insists they're exclusively Jewish, he thought there was a possibility that he has some non-Jewish ancestry. It says, I was curious, but you never know, Schaufman says. Family stories are just stories. Schaufman, who learned that he is what? 99.8% Ashkenazi Jewish. So this is pretty much saying that he's 100% European. Said that the test hasn't made much of a difference on his sense of Jewish identity. Judaism, which is a religion, really informed who I am and my values and my world view. Schaufman said, hasn't made me more or less Jewy at all. Schaufman added, he's Jewy and white. And he goes on to say this key here. I'll just highlight this at the bottom here. I get all the benefits of white privilege, he acknowledged. Come on, cuz. You can't even, you know what I mean? Their own sources knock it down. So this is why when you see TikTok videos and all that, many of them saying, hey, look, I'm Ashkenazi Jew. Let me show you guys, hey, I'm connected to Israel. No, family, they're still European. It literally says in many of them that they're 99% European, but because they see Ashkenazi Jew and they don't see the word Khazar there anymore, now they're making the assumption that some way, somehow, miraculously, that is pointing them directly to Northeast Africa. Anything you want to share, cuz?
Yeah, it actually goes back to that discussion that Iran Ilhaik, Dr. Iran Ilhaik brought up, or actually that point that he brought out. And it has to do with the the group that they're comparing their DNA to. Like what we talked about earlier on, family, in some other previous videos, we said that really those DNA tests is really just you're just comparing one person's DNA to another group's DNA, right? And you're just trying to figure out which group does your DNA most closely match, right? And the way that they're gaming the system is, let's say, for instance, if when they take that person's DNA and they know that person's DNA is going to match people from the group from the Khazars, what they'll do is that they'll take that group from the Khazars out of the pool of DNA that they're going to test against. And that way, when that person tests their DNA, it'll come up with some other group other than the Khazars, right? And that's pretty much the game. It's a real simple game that they're playing. So basically, family, if people take a DNA test and it has that Khazar group in there, or if it has like an Ashkenazi, I guess current day is called Armenians, but so if he has like an Armenia/Georgian group that they're comparing their DNA to, that group will show up prominently in their DNA results, right? And if you ask me, family, like that's part of the reason why those tests are outlined in Israel, is because when they run that test outside of Israel, they can't control the groups that the DNA is being compared to. Because 23andMe, they have their own group of DNA samples that they're comparing your DNA to. Same thing with Ancestry.com. You go on all the way down the list. Each of these companies have their own pool of DNA that they're comparing that person's DNA to. And if you ask me, family, that's why it's outlawed in Israel. Yeah.
So in family, this is why it's imperative for you to make notes. Don't just listen to what we're saying. Write down these notes or take these sources that we're sharing with you, go over it. Make sure you rehearse it, because I'm sure in your spaces you're having these conversations. And many of you probably trying to figure out, how do you explain this stuff? Well, we're giving you the information on how to explain this stuff, how to present this information. And so it was something that you mentioned. Yeah, actually, this source right here, tying into what you were pointing out, because earlier about the two groups, but this one is also confirming the article. This is the source that the LA Times quoted from or used as a reference about the Ashkenazi Jewish community. I'm not going to read it, but this is the source. I'll drop the link in the comment section, or at least the name of this article. But it's pointing out that there's a small group of people in the Middle East that they, in a nutshell, tied or connected to the Ashkenazi Jewish community as we know them. All right. This right here is Khazaria.com. And this is giving you some more information, especially when you're dealing with as I go over here, the E and J haplogroups. All right. But it's another area that I'm not going to read this here, but this is just a court case proving that from the legal aspect, from the Supreme Court, the federal courts, they recognize the Jewish community as being Caucasians, as being part of the white race. So that's where you start getting into that dilemma of how can you be Caucasian? How can you be European? And at the same time, you are Afro-Asiatic. You are a subgroup. Go ahead, cuz.
No, I was gonna say, wait, did that go up all the way up to the Supreme Court? I thought.
Yeah, this is Supreme Court right here. This is the actual case. Right? And I could drop the link in the comment section, but it's Sha'ari Tefillah Congregation versus Cobb, right? Because I remember this when I was little. I mean, when I was younger, this is a big deal. But what people didn't know is about they didn't know about how far as the conclusion, of the judges and how they wrote their final, what they call it, I can't think of the name.
Yeah,
I think it's
I forgot it too.
Yeah.
Like the final ruling, but it's like it has a term for it, but
yeah, I can't remember the term. I think I have it in here. I may have it in here.
Actually,
you know what I'm talking about, right? I
Cuz
can't think of the name.
This thing is what you just brought out, cuz though. It's major because of the potential court cases that are getting ready to pop off, including the one that already popped off with the Nation of Islam, right? So imagine, so they're going to court, and if there's a Supreme Court ruling that already ruled or stated to some effect that they are a part of the Caucasian race, then that whole claim about anti-Semitism is in jeopardy. If there's already a Supreme Court decision, the light bulb didn't go off until you just read it, because I was like, man, wait a minute. Man, I have to go back through these Supreme Court decisions to see to take a look at it.
Yeah, and see, this is something that I researched like years ago. It was like, the playbook, like we got to go into take their approach. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We had to go into these type of sources. It's good, the sources we use, but we got to start understanding the legal aspect. This right here makes it clear that a white person cannot sue another white person. A black person, according to the institution of race, cannot sue another black person. And I challenge all you guys. For example, the guy that what they call it, the machete that remember a couple of years ago he went into while they I guess they were celebrating what's feast day, I can't remember, but a Jewish community up in New York was having a feast day celebration or whatever.
Oh yeah. You're talking about the guy that came in with the knife or machete.
Yeah,
it was like it was like a bar mitzvah or something like that.
Yeah, see, I went to the federal courts, right, their website, to see what charges he was actually charged with. Because, see, what you'll see is politicians, many of them will make this do a lot of grandstanding and say like, hey, we're gonna punish them at the extent of the law. And I have it in one of these presentations here, some of the notes from there. I may pull it up here real quick, but the actual charges was not anti-Semitism.
Oh, that's the one where they tried to turn that person into a black Hebrew Israelite.
Yeah.
They get this family. This is what they did. They said they went, after the crime occurred, and they went through his truck, because I think he drove like a van or something like that to the scene. And as they were going through it, they said they found a notepad, and on the notepad it said something about it said powerful Nubian Israelite or something like that. And then when they took it, this is when the ADO took it and ran off and said, "Oh, he was a black Hebrew Israelite," because they found the phrase "powerful Nubian Israelite." I don't even think it was Nubian. I think it was something else other than Nubian on there. But because somebody wrote it down on a piece of paper that it didn't say black Hebrew Israelite, it said something else. They used that as justification to label him as a black Hebrew Israelite and do what I call, they're trying to cast this illusion of violence on our community. I mean, this was one of the examples of the ADL doing that and defaming our community.
All right, and I'm gonna pull up this now. You guys gonna know that this is a very old presentation, but I'm going to show it anyway, and then we'll read a little bit out of this court case to you to kind of bring home the point that Benaya pointed out about how important this is. This is very significant. This is what we have to really start understanding, that we got to use. We have to go into those sources. We have to understand their law. You know what I mean? In order to really solidify our argument, build our arguments. All right, but here it is. Let me pull it up here. Remember this right here. This is let me see here. Back it up. Let me make sure. Okay. All right. And actually, because this is a presentation from back when you and I did the one down in Augusta, Georgia.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah, with Big Chief Mo. Yep.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So this is right. 11 killed in synagogue massacre. And I want to make this clear. We are not being trying to minimize or mock the senseless death of these people. So I want to make that clear. This is just dealing with information, but this is not trying to disrespect or question whether or not this situation happened or anything like that. So I just want to make that clear. But this is coming from the New York Times. 11 killed in synagogue massacre. Suspect charged with 29 counts, right? And this is what's interesting, right? I remember seeing the news, right? You had the politicians saying that they were going to charge her with anti-Semitism. They were going to do all of this. They was going to go to the full extent of the law. All right. So this is just describing what happened there. But it says here, the assailant identified by law enforcement officials as Robert D. Bowers fired for several minutes and was leaving the synagogue when officers dressed in tactical gear and armed with rifles met him at the door. But notice what it says here, right? Right. This is still dealing with the same thing, right? They said federal prosecutors have filed hate crime charges against a Pennsylvania man. And you have to understand, you don't see anti-Semitism. If you look up the old video, news clips, you'll see politicians saying that they're going to charge this person with anti-Semitism. But notice what it says here. Prosecutors have filed what? Hate crime charges. That's a big difference. And it says here, he made anti-Semitic statements during the shooting and targeted Jews on social media, according to a federal law enforcement official. All right. So what were the charges? Here it is. These are the actual charges. 11 counts of obstruction of free exercise of religious beliefs resulting in death. 11 counts of use of and discharge of a firearm to commit murder and in relation to a crime of violence. 2 counts of obstruction of free exercise of free religious belief involving an attempt to kill and use of a dangerous weapon and resulting in bodily injury. 11 counts of use and discharge of a firearm during and in relation to a crime of violence. 8 counts of obstruction of free exercise of religious beliefs involving an attempt to kill and use of dangerous weapon and resulting in bodily injury to a public safety officer, and 1 count of obstruction of free exercise of religious beliefs involving use of a dangerous weapon and resulting in bodily injury to a public safety officer. But guess what, cuz? Guess what we see that's not here? Hate crimes against race. You don't see hate crimes charges against race. You don't see hate crime charges mentioned. You don't see anything mentioning anti-Semitism, and you don't see anything that's mentioning what? Racism. And the question is why? You see where I'm going at with this, cuz?
Yeah, that's a different one than the one I was talking about earlier.
But here's the other one. This is the one that you're referring to, right? You know how we do. So this is the Hanukkah stabbing suspect charged with federal hate crimes, right? This is December 30th, 2019, right? And you guys remember this here. Prosecutors on Monday filed federal hate crime charges against 37-year-old man accused of storming a Hanukkah celebration at a rabbi's home in Monsey, New York, with a machete, wounding 5 people. Grafton Thomas of Greenwood Lake pleaded not guilty Sunday to 5 counts of attempted murder and 1 count of burglary. On Monday, he was charged in the Southern District of New York with 5 counts of obstruction of free exercises of religious beliefs involving an attempt to kill and use of a dangerous weapon and resulting in bodily injury. Now, here's the charges, and this is why it's dicey for them, right? Let me make sure I got it here. Thompson, 37, is charged with 5 counts of obstructing the free exercise of what? Religion in an attempt to kill in violation of Title 18, United States Code Section 247. And this is coming directly from the justice.gov. This is not any websites we created. This is a government website. Each of the 5 counts carries a maximum prison term of life. The maximum potential for a potential sentence in this case is prescribed by Congress. But so in a nutshell, cuz this is all he was charged with. 5 counts of obstructing the free exercise of religion in an attempt to kill. Why? It's so dicey. Why? When we start dealing with that word Shemitic or anti-Semitic, because going to that federal court case, right? Now, these are the things that are missing. I'm gonna get to that court case. What's missing in these charges? Hate crime charges against race, hate crime charges against ethnicity. So what are the hate crime laws? I'm not going to get into this portion of it, but let me get to that. Let me get to this key thing here. And this is them expanding the laws to including like gender, as far as sexual preference and things along that line. As you see here, based on gender, disability, gender identity, sexual orientation. But when we go here, and you can tell the difference between the 2 articles, right? You see the presentation is different, right? You can see the aging of it, right? So let me bring up the other one, because I think the other one I kind of updated it a little bit. But let me bring this one back up. And family, I'm gonna turn it over to you, because once I read this here, to show you why this is significant, or what the information that's being presented. All right, I'm gonna show you why that you will not see race, You will not see anything about ethnicity and things along that line. You didn't see anything about anti-Semitism, but you hear this being broadcasted through what? The media. So let's go ahead and go into this this court case real quick. Cherie Tefila, excuse me, congregation versus Cobbs, right? Their synagogue was vandalized, and they brought charges to the Supreme Court for this person. They was trying to charge this person with anti-Semitism. Notice this here. After their synagogue was painted with anti-Semitic slogans, phrases, and symbols, petitioners brought suit in federal district court alleging that the desecration by respondents violated 42, and this is just given the actual statute here, USC 1982. The district court dismissed petitioner's claim, and the Court of Appeals affirmed, holding that discrimination against Jews is not racial discrimination. That's big, right? Because they're saying that this Caucasian, this white guy that vandalized their place of worship, right? It's saying that it says here, the district court dismissed petitioner's claim and the Court of Appeals affirmed. So they appealed it, in the Court of Appeals held firm on this, saying, holding that discrimination against Jews is not racial discrimination. And it gives the statute, but it goes on to say, a charge of racial discrimination within the meaning of this statute cannot be made out by alleging only that the defendants were motivated by racial animus. It is also necessary to allege that the animus was directed toward the kind of group that Congress intended to protect when it passed that statute. And it gives the statute here, but it says, number 2, Jews can state a claim of racial discrimination, it says, since they were among the people considered to be distinct races. So what this is saying, that early on, they were viewing the Jews as being a distinct race, not just the Jews, but the Arabs. But watch what this says here. It says, and hence within the protection of the statute at the time it was passed, they are not foreclosed from stating a cause of action simply because the defendants are also part of what today is considered what? The Caucasian race. See, what they're saying is, initially, the laws that existed at that time, right, prior to this ruling, they were in place to protect us, special groups like the Arabs and the Jewish community. But then fast forwarding is saying that, guess what? It says you cannot, as it says, they are not foreclosed from stating a cause of action simply because the defendant are also part of what today is considered the Caucasian race. Saying, hey, you can't just sue someone saying this white person, this Caucasian did this, so we want to sue this person for race. That's what this is saying. A white person cannot sue another white person. And it gives a reference case here, St. Francis College versus Al Khazar, excuse me if I butcher this, Khazara Raji, right? But then notice what you see here: reverse and remand, reverse and remanded by White, J. White or Justice White, delivered the opinion for a unanimous court. Justice White delivered the opinion of the court. We agree with petitioners. However, the Court of Appeals erred in holding that Jews cannot stake a claim against other white defendants. Now, they're going to explain real quick of what they can do within limits, but within reason. So it's making it clear they're reviewing the Jewish community as being white and just telling you that the defendant is white. So they're saying that here, that, hey, you know what? Yeah, maybe they can't, not maybe, but they can't sue based upon race. But guess what? They still can bring charges against this person. This is what it's saying. That view rested on the notion that because Jews today are not thought to be members of a what? Separate race. That's a mic drop right there. That view rested on the notion that because Jews today are not thought to be members of a separate race, they cannot make out a claim of racial discrimination within the meaning of the statute. The construction of the section we have today, rejected in St. Francis College versus Al Khazar Raji, and it gives the statute. Our opinion in that case observed that definitions of race when the statute of 1982 was passed were not the same as they are today, right? And it goes on to say, and I just want to go to this section here, and concluded that this section was intended to protect the discrimination identifiable classes of persons who are subjected to intentional discrimination solely because of their ancestry or ethnic characteristics. But here's the kicker. The question before us is not whether Jews are considered to be a separate race by today's standards, but whether at the time was adopted, Jews constituted a group of people that Congress intended to protect. It is evident from legislative history of the section reviewed in this case here, a review that we need not repeat it here. But notice it has here, it says Jews and Arabs were among the people then considered. But today you don't see it there. You see everything is all about what? You'll see the term anti-Semitic when it deals with the Jews, and you'll see, anti-Arabic or something like that. I can't remember what they call it, against the Arabs. But anyway, but it says to be distinct races and hence within the protection of the statute. But it says here, Jews are not foreclosed from stating a cause of action against other members of what today is considered to be part of the Caucasian race. So what this is saying is they can still bring someone to court for hate crimes, but it cannot be for racism. It cannot be for anti-Semitism, because going back to your the point that you raised, cuz the issue is, how can you bring for example, what they call as black into court for anti-Semitism when that word Semitism is a subgroup of Afro-Asiatic? So Afro-Asiatic cannot sue another Afro-Asiatic for hate crimes against Afro-Asiatics. That's a black person can't sue another black person for racism. So what this is saying is, no, you can't sue another person for that within your race, but you can use the hate crime laws for what? Freedom of religion, freedom of assembly. All right. Any comments, cuz? I know I went a little geek mode on that.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. I mean, it underlines what you mentioned before as far as in court, the court. I mean, what you're proving right, or what you're reading right now, because is that the court does not recognize the Jews as a race, and that's when I think you did a video a while back when Whoopi Goldberg came out and made that point as well, and social, not social media, but mainstream media outlets gave her a hard time about it. But you pointed out that, hey, the court system does not recognize Jews as a distinctive race, right? And I like I said, I totally had forgotten about that, and man, I just have to do some research to see what sort of role that's going to play in these court cases coming up, because if that's the stance of the Supreme Court, that's going to have a direct bearing on court cases such as the Nation of Islam court case that'll be hopefully coming to court soon.
And see, remember Donald Trump tried to say, hey, declare the Jews as being a race? It doesn't matter what he tried, executive orders he put in place, that does not overrule the Supreme Court. All of that was for FaceTime. You know what I mean? The optics. When you see that, and most people don't understand, the legalities of that, it seemed like, oh, wow, the Jews are now recognized as a race. No, you have to go to what the law says. The federal law is still, it trumps all of that. They can come up with all the things they want to come up with, but ultimately the Supreme Court has the final say. No matter what, they can sign whatever they want to sign, but guess what? The Supreme Court, and you still saw it when certain things were implemented. What did they do? As far as like with the education they passed in Congress, the Senate, guess what? They took it all the way to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court struck it down.
Yeah, and in light of the DNA evidence that's coming out, DNA actually supports the findings of the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
How you were talking about how you run the DNA and it comes back European, 99 at some point whatever percent European. That supports the Supreme Court stance on this. So it's backed up by DNA.
Yeah. Well, family, I know we're giving you a lot of information. Cousin Benaiah, he went geek mode on us. You know how we do when you get two of us together. But this is imperative, family, for you guys to make a note and start echoing the information that we're presenting here, because there's one thing about having opinions, but it's another thing knowing the facts, knowing what's actually written, what's etched in stone. Because again, I don't get caught up in it now. When I would watch the news when I was younger and they say, hey, we're going to pull these charges, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Because when I decided to research the actual charges, I was like, I said, that proves the notion. That proves the notion that I had from the beginning. And then, man, I started going into those the Supreme Court rulings, and it confirmed it. So a lot of what we see on television is all for optics. That's all it is. Who controls them?
Yeah, and I think that the weaponization of the term anti-Semitism has been used one too many times. And I think that what you're starting to see is the pushback from the general public on that term. Because they're just it's being used generously to almost any situation, it seems. So yeah, I just think that it's because of that liberal use of that term that I think it kind of lost its I want to say that its effectiveness, right? It's not as effective as it was, and it's going to, I think eventually that's going to be the downfall, is because they've been trying to use it so liberally.
And see, remember when the Passion of Christ came out? I don't know if you remember what the uproar towards Mel Gibson, because of, as they pointed out, him saying that it was the Jews that killed Jesus. If Mel Gibson understood, he could have took them to court, because they accused him of being anti-Semitic for making a movie about the Jews killing Jesus. And they ran with that thing. They actually blacklisted him for a while, or should we say whitelisted him, right? But they listed, he was like on the outside looking in for a while. But see, they tried him in public opinion. And because they did you got to give it to them, they did a very crafty job at really pushing their definition of what anti-Semitism is, and have so many people afraid of that label. So, but yeah, they literally was like, hey, you know what? Yeah, you anti-Semitic. You for saying that the Jews killed Jesus.
Yep, and that's all in the Bible. I mean, it's like I said, they've kind of gone to the well one too many times with that one, because they even talk about how You know, if you say you know, the synagogue of Satan, like literally quoting the Bible, the scriptures, right? You know, them who say they are Jews and are not. I mean, that's book. So you know, what are you saying? Are you saying that are you know, are you now preventing, you know, someone's religious beliefs? If so, that's going to get into another situation that I don't think they want to get into. So I think I think they've already kind of crossed the line on some of this stuff that's coming out, kind of like what you pointed out, cuz. And yeah, it's just a matter of time before somebody calls them to the court floor about it. You know, like you said, it works in the court of public opinion, but it ain't gonna work in the real court. It's just not.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, with that lawsuit that you mentioned that Farrakhan has, now it's like, okay, now it's taking it to where it needs to be taken to, a
Yeah.
place of deliberation.
Yep.
You know, because
Yep.
we could debate about this all we want, you know, till what they say to the rooster, whatever. And I can't remember the saying that they used to have, you know, you know, but
Yep.
we could talk about this all day on social media, debate this. But the key is, the important place is deliberation. Where this being deliberated at? In the court of law. That's what counts. Now it'll be officially on record. And man, I'm gonna be following that, man. I'm gonna be following that. Yeah, Elder said the cows come home. There you go. You know, you know, I couldn't remember the saying. The cows come home, and what the chicken roost and all that other stuff. You know what I mean? I can't remember it. But yeah, because this is I mean, it's interesting because this court case is precedence. It's a man. If he win,
Yeah.
it's going to open up the floodgates.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know if people realize it or not. It's because it's like it's all a stack of dominoes. So basically, all this is kind of stacked up against the, you know, this self definition of anti-Semitism. Like, you know, they've used anti-Semitism to create policies across all over, you know, America. You know, I was talking about social media before. Like, they even use anti-Semitism, like this made up this self-definition of this term, to influence the policies of social media. You know what I mean? Like that impacts. I mean, still impacting. You know, African Israelites all around the world. You know, from your Facebook to your YouTube to your Instagram. I mean, literally, there was a consortium of people that were grouped together or called together by the ADL in under the auspices of anti-Semitism. They use that to even help these social media companies craft their policies. And then after they got them to craft their policies, they then turned around and helped them to enforce it. Right. And it's funny because when you look at some of the some of the articles, when they're pushing and probing and prodding the social media platforms to say, hey, you already have these policies in place, enforce them. And it's like, they don't tell you that they helped them come up with the policies that they're trying to tell them to enforce. I mean, they've been there it's crafty, family. When the scriptures talk about it's a crafty counsel, man, it's a crafty counsel. Crafty.
You hit it on the nail. You hit it on the nail, because I mean, very crafty. And you know, you'll see that it ties into what when it says about Hasatan from the very beginning. He was very subtle, still ties in with crafty. He's very subtle, very crafty. You know, and man, I mean, just to see the playbook, I mean, it that the tentacles, they are extended to places that many people least expect. It's like, man, you get there and you thinking that you uncover something that they haven't visited. It's like, wait a minute, they were here too. Man,
Right.
I mean, they left no stone unturned.
Yep. Yep. And it's funny because I've heard people say things like, well, why don't you guys just stay in your own lane? You know, just leave them alone. Don't talk about them. Don't bother them. You guys just focus on just waking Israel up. And the thing that comes to mind, I think I shared it with a sister, was that they don't leave us alone. Like that's the problem. The problem is we're minding our own business. Like even with social media, in social media, we're minding our own business, and behind the scenes, they're going off and making these policies that, and that's the thing about it. You talked about it being hidden. A lot of this stuff is being hidden. It's like it happens behind closed doors, secret meetings. It's not publicized, right? And we as the consumers don't have no clue all this stuff is happening. But they're proactively going behind the scenes and making policies and suppressing social media and doing redistricting in our districts so that we can't vote, trying to take away our vote. Like that stuff's happening, that they're doing that, and we're minding our own business. So the notion of like us not saying anything, to me, like that's what that's saying is that it's, well, let them keep doing that to you. Like that's what I hear. Like let them keep trying to getting over on you. It's like, no, those days are over. Those days are over, family. And so that's why I believe that part of the formula for us to get back to being Israel and on top, I think part of that formula is to expose these hidden agendas. And I think keep me honest here, family. I don't remember the scripture verbatim, but it talked about the Most High is going to expose the secret places of Edom, like all that stuff that he used to do in the dark in the booth in the back of the bedroom, like all that stuff's coming out. Like Most High is just exposing it all. And I think that's part of the things that's shaking Esau up in these last days. And just this last thing, family. And I was talking to with Cuz about this. I was like, you ever notice like a lot of the discussion nowadays is about hate? Like, that's hate speech. That's a hate crime. That's a hate this. That's a hate that. And it's interesting because, when you go back to the scriptures, it says, Jacob have I loved and Esau have I hated. Like Esau knows that he's hated, like, because he knows that that's in the scriptures. Like he knows that's been the decree of the Most High. But here today we have what it seems like this focus on hate. Like no, you can't hate. No, don't even talk hate. Don't even say hate. And you got to wonder, like, now who would have a problem with hate based on the scriptures? Come on now, who would have a problem with hate based on the scriptures? Who, it's only one person, family. It's only one person. But go ahead, Pastor.
Speaking, the old school would say, "You're talking good, son. You're talking good." That's what my old pastor would say. "You're preaching good, son. You're preaching good." But you hit it on the nail, and I put the scripture up on the screen, Jeremiah 49:10. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled in his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. Is that the one you was referred to, Cuz?
That's it. Always trying to hide and do things on the DL. All that stuff is coming out. I believe the Most High is just bringing that out to the forefront and letting people see it.
And that's the key. And I got to do that lesson publicly. The reason why Esau was able to be so crafty, he would enter into agreements with the very communities that was oppressing Israel. Secret agreements, and they have a history of doing that. And so we see that happening right now. That spirit of Esau, they're doing what? Coming up with all kinds of crafty agreements that's in behind the scenes, but guess what? It's being revealed right now. As you pointed out, it says, I have uncovered his secret places. And we're starting to see that now, and we can see why Christ said, hey, be careful when he said, hey, the Messiah is in these the hidden chambers. You know what I mean? Those secret places. Be careful what's well, not careful. You'd be surprised what's in these secret places. But yeah, because I ain't realized it's this late. I
Yep.
still got to get my lesson together for tomorrow. Good thing we're not gonna have our regular Shabbat class that normally starts at 10 o'clock. So I got
Uh-oh.
an extra hour to play with. So, but yeah, got to prepare for the Feast of Dedication tomorrow because I really appreciate it, man. You gave some great information here. And before I let you give us some final words and who you want to throw in the trash can, let me just give some shout outs here to you guys that have contributed tonight. Really appreciate you guys. Want to say shout outs to Apostle Curtis. Hey man, I really appreciate you, Elder. Thank you for the love and support. And family, if you're not familiar with his channel, Apostle Curtis have a great channel, YouTube channel. Subscribe to him. He's putting in a lot of work, so thank you for the contribution tonight. Also want to give shout outs to Makaya Ben Yahoo. Thank you as well for the love and support tonight. Family, show some love as well for him. Lisa Jackson, thank you for the contributions. You made a number of contributions tonight, a few of them tonight, and I really appreciate it. We appreciate you. So you pointed out here, he's talking about them folks that he is related to. However, he is not the original Arabian, but telling some truth. And so that is referring to the Arab guy that was exposing the video, the TikTok video that I shared, the clip of him saying that or sharing that DNA testing is forbidden, is illegal in Israel today. Thank you again. And also the other contribution here, Game Over Truth. Dude got his start with black folks. That's dealing with Michael Rappaport. That's right. Bill Cosby and what's his name? Michael Singleton and some of the others gave him his break. Lisa Jackson, appreciate you again. Nia Thomas, wanted to say thank you again for the super sticker. Really appreciate you. And again, Lisa Jackson, thank you for the contributions that you have given tonight. You gave a few of them tonight, and we really appreciate you. So with that being said, family, I'm going to go ahead and let my cousin have final words of encouragement. And if you want to throw anyone in the garbage can, the garbage can is ready, and it's ready, is locked, is loaded. And family, I want y'all to remember, anytime moving forward, you see me post this here.
Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger!
Y'all know what's coming. So got a video I'm going to drop in that regards. So when you are on some of these other platforms and they're saying some crazy stuff, just type in stranger danger. You know what I mean? It's be known. Stranger danger, right? Stranger danger. That's the warning. Right? Other nations, right? Right now, our strangers are what? The other nations. And stranger danger. So yeah, because I had to throw that in there, right? I was like, man, I gotta put that clip in here. So create a little clip. I was like, yeah, let me put this clip in here.
Yep.
So cuz any words, final words of encouragement, and anyone you want to throw in the garbage can as we get ready to conclude this live here tonight.
No, just thanks for having me on, because I really appreciate it, man. And thank you, family, for dialing in. Hopefully everyone has a great Shabbat tomorrow. And love you, fam.
I'm on.
Trash can. Oh, the enemies of Israel. The enemies of Israel.
Let's get the garbage can right now. And matter of fact, I'm gonna give you one more because we got to pull the chair out. Anyone you want to give the chair to, or any particular groups?
Yeah, I mean, to me, the enemies of Israel is like everybody.
Okay.
So.
We'll give them the chair award as well. Well, hey, appreciate your family for tuning in tonight. Apologies for being late because I was having issues with StreamYard, but really appreciate you guys. In the word of Moses, or should I say the Most High, Yahweh, as he gave to Moses in Exodus chapter 14, starting at verse 13, when Israel was facing their first major challenge when they left, when they were delivered out of the Egyptians' authority. They came across the what seemed to be a dead end, the water, right? But Moses was given these words to encourage the people with. Said, fear ye not, stand still and see the salvation of Yahweh. These Egyptians that you see here today, you will never have to see them again. In other words, they will never have power over you again. The Most High will fight for you. But here's the key requirement. It says you have to hold your peace. The Hebrew word that you see there is karash, not shalom or shalom, shalom to some, shalom to others. What you will see there is the Hebrew word karash, which means be quiet. Can't go back. And you know the other portion of that, can't stay here. And guess what, family? We have to keep moving forward. Shalom.
Listen, Genesis chapter 11, verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this back, Genesis 14, verse 13, Abraham steps on the scene. Being a descendant of Shem, which is a fact, means Abraham too was Abraham, born in the city of a black man, called Nimrod, grandson of Ham. Ham had 4 sons. One was named Canaan. Here, let me do some explaining. Abraham, Isaac was Jacob had 12 sons, for real, and these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10, these were the children of